They are a pumped-up group of guys. They would love nothing more than to spoil Coast Guard's party here this afternoon. Mick, we got to talk about homecoming because it is a special day here at Coast Guard.
It sure is, Mike, and they're expecting a capacity crowd, and unfortunately I think the weather's going to take a little bit away from the crowd. The crowd's not going to be as big as it would have been, but it's still a big day for Coast Guard, and it's a very big game for both teams. Wesleyan's coming off a big win. They want to prove something. Coast Guard, if they have any shot at postseason play, they've got to win the rest of their games.
And of course, we talked to both coaches earlier on in the week, and Kevin Spencer is really, he's like a little kid before this game. He really wants to win this ball game.
That's right. We had a chance to talk to him the other day, and he was saying that the game reminds him of the Christians going against the Romans, and he hopes that his team does not come out like the Christians did. I think we're going to have a good football game. Wesleyan can surprise some people. They have the offensive talent. Big win last week on the road, 34-9.
And he said the other day that they will be, meaning the cadets will be yelling at his ball club. As you see, the Coast Guard Academy Bears take the field. They are running by the cadets down there on the field. The band played for a while before the game. Nobody seems to be letting this weather affect them. They don't care because, again, this is a big day here, and the alumni comes from all over the country to come back for this game. And no matter what, they're going to be rooting for their ball club today.
That's right, Mike. We could take a quick look at Coast Guard's season to date. They opened the season on the road at Merchant Marine with a 35-7 win, reclaiming the Secretary's Cup. They had a big game defensively and offensively, and at that point they were ranked 3rd in the NCAA Eastern Regional poll. And then their only home game to date, they lost to RPI 14-0 here, but they bounced back with 2 consecutive wins on the road.
Okay, we'll get into what both teams have done so far to date as the game progresses, but the captains are now meeting at midfield with the referees, so let's go down now for the coin toss.
Captain Wachowski, please. Okay, I'm the referee. I'm Mr. Ardito today. Who's going to call the toss? Call while it's in the air. Number 12, you're going to call. Call while it's in the air, guys. Heads he calls. Heads it is. You've won the toss. You have your options. You want to defer. White has won the toss and is elected to defer to the second half. Blue, it's your choice. You may kick, receive, or defend the goal. You want the... Beg your pardon? Ball. You want the ball. Which end do you want to defend? Turn your back that way. Blue will receive down this end. Gentlemen, let's have a good football game.
And you heard the call. Wesleyan won the coin toss, but they elected to defer until the second half. Coast Guard will receive the ball, and they will have first possession. Mick, any reason why they elected winning the coin toss, why they elected to give the ball to Coast Guard? We'll take a look at the officials right now as they appear right now. Referee, the umpire, linesman Robert Harris, Joseph Frescatori, the line judge, William Keats, and Frank Rathone will be the timer. Mick, we were saying, why would Wesleyan want to give the ball away to start the game? You would imagine they'd want to go on the offense.
They probably feel a little more comfortable with their defense, and they figure they might as well go with the defense. If they can hold them, they get an early advantage and then get the ball. And also in the second half, they have the choice now. They'll be getting the ball in the second half. So obviously Coach Kevin Spencer feels very confident with his defense, and he thinks that they can go out there and hold Coast Guard right away. Maybe get a quick turnover.
Well, Coach Tom Bell will try to put his team into motion right away. There's the rivalry history. 48 games played between these two teams since 1935. Wesleyan has the upper hand at 27 wins, Coast Guard at 19, and they've played in 2 ties. So should be a great ball game today, Mick. I'm looking forward to it.
And we should mention also, Mike, that last year's game played at Wesleyan, Coast Guard was a 15-7 winner. But Wesleyan led that game late in the ball game, 7-6. Coast Guard really struggled. We should also mention that Ty Ranoski did not play last year in that game. Okay, you're looking at the Coast Guard Academy's all-time records, and there they are, set against Wesleyan. Most pass receptions in one game, 12 by John Rend in 1985. Most receiving yards in one game. And we'll get more into those as the game progresses. Okay, and here is the punt by Tony Stevenson. Coast Guard will take over at about the 31-yard line. Michael Murphy, one of the upbacks, with the return for Coast Guard, and the Cadets will take over 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Let's set the offense for you for Coast Guard.
Coast Guard Academy Bears, backed by Ty Ranoski, out of their wishbone offense. Ranoski with the handoff. That was to Scott Herder, his #1 back, and not much gain at all. And it looks already, Mick, like there is a tough time getting your footing out there. There's Ty Ranoski right there, the quarterback for the Bears. Their running backs, Kenny, Herder, and Brown. Allen, Homer, and Mikowski as well for the Coast Guard Bears. Herder right up the middle for a strong gain. He is out to midfield. A nice strong run by Scott Herder. And there you go, Mick. Doesn't take long for him to prove what he is capable of doing, even in tough conditions.
He is explosive. We'll take a look at the replay. Simple play, fullback dive right up the middle. He breaks one tackle and drags a defender with him for another 5 yards. He is a horse, Mike. He is a big guy. As we said last week, set a record with 240 yards rushing against Norwich.
The Coast Guard is now in Wesleyan territory. Once again, to Herder. Another gain of about 6 yards. And he just pulls right forward. And Wesleyan's looking for it, but he is a tough bull to stop.
That's right. They're looking for it, but they can't do anything to stop it. And I think Coach Bell's philosophy right now is to give the ball to Herder and make Wesleyan stop him. So far, they haven't shown that they'll be able to.
Split wide for Coast Guard now is Delano Adams. Wesleyan may have jumped, but not enough. Once again, it's Herder, and it looks like he's got enough for a first down. There's the offensive line. Allen, number 54. There's Clay Diamond and Jeff Peters. Take a look at the receivers, Delano Adams and Bob Wilbur, number 94 for the Bears. So it is a first down and 10 at the 38-yard line. Make it the 39. Some movement on Wesleyan, and he is taken down. Ty Ranoski taken down by number 42, Jim Regan. And we talked a lot about him. He is strong on defense for Wesleyan, Mick.
Unfortunately, the Cardinals jumped offside, so it's going to be a first down and 5.
There were flags on the play. Somebody jumped. Maybe we can take a look at who may have jumped on the line for the Cardinals, but there was movement. Here's the call. So a pretty costly penalty for Wesleyan right there. Here's another look right here. First and 5 now for the Bears. Goes to number 21, John Renee. Sorry, that's Dave Brown for Coast Guard. Take a look at the defense.
Steve Zubkoff, the left tackle, Mike Carlton, Kyle Mangini up front. Linebackers Carter Heller, Greg Ballerino, Matt Cohn and Sean McKissick, the other linebackers. And we'll get to the secondary in a minute. Second down and 1 for Coast Guard from the 30-yard line.
Ranoski making the calls. And he pitches back once again to number 21, Dave Brown. He's the junior, 5'9", 175 pounds. Mick, the rest of the lineups.
Matt Cohn and Norm Bollier, Sean McKissick, Scott Hatter, freshman, are the cornerbacks, and Jim Regan and Pat Flaherty in the defensive secondary for Wesleyan.
Okay, number 4, Delano Adams once again. Splits wide for Coast Guard. Third down and 2. Big play here for the Bears. Lasky holds it. He pitches out. And it will be close to a first down. That was number 34, Dan Kenny. And he's a big back for the Coast Guard as well.
Take another look. The fake to the up back hurt her, and the pitch to Kenny. He went around the side, and he didn't need much. And he got about 3 yards, and that was good for the first down.
He was met there by number 34 for Wesleyan, Scott Hatter. He's a freshman. 6'1", 175 pounds. First and 10 now. The Coast Guard on the 27-yard line. Hand off. Once again, it's to number 34, Dan Kenny. And not much there. Good defensive play by Wesleyan. They just stayed right in there and held tight at the line.
Kenny had a big week last week for Coast Guard in the Norwich game. Coast Guard's not doing anything that Wesleyan's not expecting, Mike. They're running the ball. They used Herder effectively, and now they're using Kenny effectively.
Still second and 10 now for the Bears. That's to Dave Brown again, and he slipped. Maybe he gained a yard on that play, but not much more than that. Once again, the Wesleyan defense staying strong, and this is tough yardage territory, Mick. Anytime you get inside the 30, the yards are tougher to come by. Here's another look.
Good play by Sean McKissick, the left cornerback. Came up, fought off the block, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 9. Could see the first pass of the game for Coast Guard. Coach Bell told us earlier this week he'd like to throw the ball more. We'll see if the weather's affected his strategy at all.
He sure would, and Delano Adams is now split to the right. So we'll keep an eye on him. But it's another running play. Renoski holds it, and he pops it up, and it's recovered by Wesleyan. It'll be a Wesleyan football, and that could be a costly mistake, Mick. What happened?
Big hit on the impact, recovered by, there's another look at it. See Renoski takes a big hit right there. The ball pops loose, recovered by Wesleyan. Norm Bollier, the outside linebacker, with the recovery for Wesleyan, and they will take over.
Big play for the senior Norm Bollier. 6'1", 195 pounds, and he put all 195 into that hit. Now the Wesleyan offense on the attack. We'll go over their starting lineups in a minute.
Pitch to Bill Buckley on that play for about 5 yards around the end.
That brings up now a 2nd down. Here's the quarterback, Jim Lukowski, highly touted quarterback. A lot of talk about him. He's got great movement. We'll watch him today. He pitches back to number 27. That's Steve Usher. We talked a lot about him as well. You'll see that play all day long. Bill Buckley and Steve Usher. There he is, number 27 for the Cardinals.
Offensive line, Baldwin, Cashin, and D. Giamarino. Kotze and McKean. And the wide receivers, Frankel, Panini.
All right, Wesleyan offense now in motion. Kowski dropped back to pass, didn't have anything, but now he's got the run. But good coverage down there by number 26 for Coast Guard. That's Dave Beck, the sophomore.
Going to be close to a first down, Mike. Looks like he's a little short, about a half a yard, and Wesleyan will be forced to punt.
But I think that gave you a little bit of an indication, Mick. We'll talk about that play in a minute. Defensive tackles for Coast Guard. Here's the punt now. Number 18 for Coast Guard.
Coast Guard will take over ball on their own 39-yard line.
On the punt reception. So it'll be 1st and 10. 8:33 left in the first quarter at the Coast Guard Academy. And now we've had a chance to look to both offenses now, Mick, and I think we can see right away that it is going to be tough to move the ball on the ground today.
Coast Guard was doing a good job. Again, we hark back to the beginning of the game. We mentioned turnovers are going to be a key.
Renoski pitches back. It's picked up. Nice job once again by Dave Brown. It hit the ground first on the pitch by Renoski, but Dave Brown held his composure and held on to the ball.
Again, good defense by Wesleyan as we take another look at it. Renoski forced to get rid of the ball before he really wanted to, and he made a poor pitch. Fortunately, Brown was able to pick it up and get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 9 as he gained 1 on the play.
Again. Look how tough it is to bring him down. Took 4 defensive players for Wesleyan to finally bring Herder down, and he just bulls right forward.
Strong right up the middle again, nothing fancy. Makes a nice little move, and then he drags about 4 Wesleyan defenders with him. Herder received the Golden Helmet Award for last week's performance. Only the 3rd cadet this decade to win the award. Very prestigious award handed out to a Division II or Division III player.
6'2", 225 of pure muscle. All right, at the 49 now for Coast Guard. Renoski faked to Herder. He held on to it, and he is met hard there by number 44 for Wesleyan. And he is just out to about midfield.
Left side of the Wesleyan defense is containing Renoski. They haven't had much success to the short side of the field. Kind of surprised, Mike, that they're not going to Herder. Herder's been running the ball consistently for 6-7 yards a pop, and I keep going with it.
All right, it's 2nd and 9 now. Just a 1-yard gain on that play. Renoski runs into Herder a little bit of confusion on that play. Maybe we can take another look. But it seemed like it was a breakdown somewhere between Herder and Renoski on that play. Take another look.
I don't think that play was designed to go to Herder. It looked like Renoski was going to pitch the ball wide. But he made the right choice in giving the ball to Herder after it broke down. 3rd down and 6.
Do they go to the pass now, Mick? Gotta ask you that, because there's Delano Adams out wide again.
I think they're going to stay on the ground, Mike. Probably to Herder.
Renoski goes to the air, and it almost picked off. Almost picked off by number 25, Sean McKissick, for Wesleyan, but he did a nice job to bat it down, and Coast Guard will have to punt it away anyway, but almost grabbed there by McKissick, and he could have gone for a while, I think, Mick, because there was not too many players for Coast Guard on that left side of the field.
Saw Ty Renoski coming off the field there. Not a good throw on his part. He threw into double coverage that time.
Jeff Farley with the punt for Coast Guard. And it takes a Coast Guard bounce. It is inside the 15, and it stops at the 14-yard line. That is where the Wesleyan offense will take over now. 6 minutes left in this first quarter. No score as yet. Wesleyan Cardinals will now go on the offense. Backed by their quarterback, Wachowski. The pitch, and it goes out of bounds, and it is fortunate for Wesleyan because that could have been costly that deep in their zone, Mick.
Take a look at the defense for Coast Guard. Holing and Frieda, Anderson and St. Michel, the linebackers, and they're a good bunch. Nuzum, Monago, and Ekholm. And the cornerbacks, Hindle and Miller, along with Beck and Dermott.
2nd down and 3 for Wesleyan. Hand off and right up the middle. That was number 45, Frank Boynton, I believe. Mick, the rest of the defense.
Miller and Dermott, the safeties.
Boynton comes off the field. He is replaced by Drew Marcello and number 80, John Bonini. There is Tom Bell on the sidelines for Coast Guard. Boy, what a job he's done with this program, Nick.
He's turned it around.
1st and 10. Wachowski holds on to it again and picks up about 4 yards on the play, but he can really move, Nick.
Wachowski, the all New England small college athletic quarterback last year, first team, holds many of the career marks at Wesleyan. He's a senior.
Nice play. He was tripped up by St. Michel on that play. Or St. Mitchell. Lukowski again, and what a hole he's found. Good run by Lukowski here. I think it was designed to be a run, but look at the moves on this guy. Finally tripped up down there.
Mark Hindle with the tackle for Coast Guard, but not before Lukowski got a first down. He saw a big hole. He's going to pitch it outside wide, but he decided to run with it, made the right choice. And as we said, Mike, he's very dangerous, not only throwing the ball, but running, as you can see on that last play.
They're at the 37-yard line. Pitches back. Steve Usher had a tough time afoot there, slipping and sliding, but still picked up about 3 or 4 yards on the play. There you go, coming right into your screen right here. Had a little trouble with his footing right there, but as we say, the guys who are good athletes can still pick up 3 or 4 yards on a play like that.
Footing is definitely having an effect on the running games.
2nd and 7. Left. He's on the move. Looked for somebody to pitch to, but he comes up about a yard short of a first down. Finally brought down by number 24, Sean Murphy from Coast Guard.
You see Lukowski, and he leaves Tom Miller in his dust. Miller's feet went right out under him. Lukowski's very shifty. Coach Bell early in the week told us that Lukowski is one of the best athletes he's seen. Not only a standout football player, but he plays baseball, and he's a starting pitcher, and a good one at that.
3rd down and 1 now. Big play for Wesleyan. The handoff, and it looks like it'll be enough for a first down. We'll have to wait and see what the officials rule and where they spot the ball. Maybe not. We may see the chains on this play.
It's going to be a first down.
Very close, Mick. Very close on that play.
Frank Boynton on the carry, right up the middle.
As they approach midfield, it's 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Looks wide. He's got it up there. Flags on the play, and boy, is he ever racked up. Number 11 for Wesleyan, Glenn Frankel, was hit hard by, I believe, number 24, Sean Murphy. Boy, did he ever get racked up on the side.
I think it was Tom Miller, one of the co-captains for Coast Guard. I think we're going to have a holding call on Wesleyan in the play, but a big hit.
Tom Miller.
By Miller.
And a reminder, coming up at the end of the game, we will present our TV 26 Most Valuable Player Award to the most outstanding player of this game. Right now, absolutely no indication, Mick, as to who might get it. We have some kind of ideas, but really no indication yet. So it'll go against Wesleyan, the penalty will, and they'll march the ball back.
1st and 20 for the Cardinals. From their own 37-yard line.
So now it's a 1st and 20. 3 minutes left in the 1st quarter. Lukowski will have to do some moving now. He'll have to move this offense. Pitches back. Number 27, Steve Usher, gets back about 7 yards. But a long way to go, but a little bit at a time, I guess, is the way they're approaching this.
Eric St. Michel has been in the Wesleyan backfield almost on every play, Mike. Take another angle at it.
A high-level camera.
And talking earlier to Mike Monago, Coast Guard's excellent sophomore linebacker, he said they're going to have to stop that play if they want to shut down Wesleyan's offense.
2nd and 12 now. Handoff once again to Steve Usher, and not much doing there. Number 91 on the field now for Coast Guard on defense. The left end, Matt Hunter, the sophomore, 6'3", 195 pounds. And Tom Bell, I would imagine, in this kind of weather and in these kind of conditions, Mick, will be mixing up the defense and the offense. He wants to get fresh legs in there all the time because this takes a tremendous amount of energy running in this stuff. 3rd down and 11 now for Wesleyan. He's looking to put it up. Bukowski is brought down in a nice play by number 91, Matt Hunter, the guy who just came in the ballgame.
Take another look at it. Bukowski back to pass. Blocking breaks down, and Matt Hunter with the sack. The sophomore defensive end for Coast Guard brings up a 4th and 22.
Punt is off, and it goes to number 18 for Coast Guard. That is David Doughty. So they will take over at their 30-yard line.
Matt Moravec, freshman from Haddam, Connecticut, with the tackle for the Cardinals.
1st and 10. We'll see what the Coast Guard Bears can do. Minute 17 left in the first quarter. They will try to move the ball. Hand off to Herder. Picks up about 3 yards in the play.
Kyle Mangini in on the tackle for Wesleyan.
Scott Herder, you can tell, is just a raw, natural athlete. He just keeps those legs moving, and if he can get another yard, he will fight until he can get as much as he can. 2nd and 7 now for Coast Guard. Not much there. The Wesleyan defense keying on Herder, obviously, Mick. They know he's the big gun for Coast Guard, and they've got to gamble a little bit. They've got to be looking for him to get the ball, and if Coast Guard, I guess that'll be the telling tale today. If Coast Guard can get the ball to other people, it may hurt the Wesleyan defense.
Mangini again in on that tackle. 2nd play in a row.
Both teams seem to be playing very cautiously, and that's understandable right now. Nobody wants to make a big mistake here. Handoff, and a nice job. They do not get the first down.
Lauren Bollier with a big tackle, getting Dave Brown short of the first down. Bring up a 4th and 4.
Another look at that. Tripped up early on in the run.
Water.
All right, so we have no score at the end of the first quarter at Coast Guard Academy. It's an exciting ball game. No score. Back in a minute.
Today's Wesleyan Coast Guard football game is brought to you in part by Caldrello Motor Group, the right choice for all the right reasons. By Miller Johnson Incorporated, Meriden, Connecticut, for your creative printing needs. By WCNX Radio 1150 AM, Middlesex County's news and information leader. By the Farmers and Mechanics Savings Bank, we take your banking personally. By National Tire, drive to your National Tire store today. And by Congressman Sam Gagenson.
Listen close. If you're serious about bass fishing, how much can you improve your bass fishing results with these full-time Bassmasters? I'm Ray Scott, and I'm telling you that even after a lifetime of bass fishing, I still ask my buddies, the pros, what's new? And Bass Angler Sportsman Society is for the serious bass fisherman that wants to know what's new, what's hot, and how can I catch more and bigger bass. With your membership to Bass, you receive 10 big issues of Bassmaster magazine, packed with how-to articles, exciting photography, and how much would you pay to fish alongside bassing greats like Denny Breyer, Roland Martin, and a host of others? Well, now you can. Call us toll-free and learn from the pros by becoming a BASS member. Here's how.
In addition to 10 issues of Bassmaster magazine and full membership credentials, you'll get a free tackle pack including auger tail worms, true turn hooks, stren line, spinnerbait, and the free book Jackpot Bassin'. To join, call 1-800-453-9505. Send no money, we'll gladly bill you.
This is WTWS TV 26, New London, Groton, Norwich.
And remember, for all the news from home, turn on Newsbeat 26 every weeknight at 10 right here on WTWS TV 26. We are the sight and sound of southeastern Connecticut.
As we begin the second quarter of play, no score here at Coast Guard Academy. It's a 4th down and 4 to go. And Coast Guard will punt to start the second quarter. Jeff Farley will drop back to punt. Number 14, Tony Garver, back at the 30 for Wesleyan to receive. And it is taken in. Garver slipped immediately after receiving the ball. Good coverage, though, by the special teams of Coast Guard getting down there and getting on the play.
Garver had returned a 80-yard punt return for a touchdown in the first game of the year against Tufts, so he's dangerous. Again, we see his footing go out from under him, and good coverage by Coast Guard. It'll be 1st and 10 for Wesleyan at their 28-yard line.
So here come the Cardinals once again, led by Jim Lukowski. He holds on to it, and he pulls forward for about 4 yards in the play. Jim Lukowski.
Take another look at it. Lukowski keeps it himself. Mike Monago, sophomore linebacker, leading the team in tackles in on that play.
And these are big games for these guys, Mick, because he's a senior. He wants to do well. It's homecoming for Coast Guard. He's got to be pumped up in this game, and he could care less about the weather, the conditions, anything, the crowd. He's got one thing in his mind, and that's winning this ball game. Now he drops back to pass, and nothing doing. On the coverage, number 22, Tom Miller, a junior, a strong safety. He's 5'11", 185 pounds, but Lukowski looked left, and by the time he started to even think about right, he was wrapped up by number 22, Tom Miller.
Miller, one of the co-captains, and he came in untouched to break down on Wesleyan's part. Miller coming in on the blitz. That'll bring up a 3rd and 18 for Wesleyan. They got to be careful here. You don't want to be turning the ball over this deep in your territory.
Number 80, John Benini. Split wide to the left, and it is fumbled, and I believe it is recovered by Coast Guard. And that could be a big, big turning point in this ball game, Mick. I don't know what happened. Maybe we'll take another look at it. But from what I see, the preliminary indications are that it just plain slipped out of Lukowski's hand.
That's right, Mike. Lukowski just fumbled the snap, and again, it goes back to the weather conditions. A wet football. The exchange from center was not a good one, and it went right into John Frederick's hands. And Coast Guard has an excellent opportunity here. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line of Wesleyan.
Not what Wesleyan wanted at all, and exactly what Coast Guard wanted to see. So let's see what Tyronoski can work up now. Hands off to Herder, and he is swarmed by the Wesleyan defense. Good job by the Wesleyan defense there, but boy, oh boy, that is tough grounds to give the ball away like that.
Kyle Mangini again, first person to hit Herder. Coast Guard has got to find a way to block him. They want to be successful running Herder up the middle.
Coast Guard with their wishbone offense. Arnoski making the calls. Handoff goes to Kenny. And that is good for about 2 or 3 yards.
Kenny, the senior from Niantic. He's played football with Tyronoski ever since he was a peewee, Mike. So these guys know each other.
A lot of local guys starting to come to the Coast Guard Academy. Of course, they come from all over the United States, but there is a lot of local interest now at the Coast Guard. 3rd and 4 now for Coast Guard. There was movement on Wesleyan. Arnoski pitches out. That's Dave Brown, and he is brought down.
Take another look at it.
Decision now for Coach Tom Bell. He's got a 4th down and 2. They are at the 12-yard line. Here's a look at it.
Dave Brown going for the 1st down, and Scott Hatter made the big play for Wesleyan. He didn't make the tackle, but he strung out, fought off the block, strung the play out until help arrived. And I'll bring up a 4th and 2 Coast Guard's going to take a timeout and talk things over.
Mick, in a game like this, does Coach Tom Bell say, hey, scoring may be tough to come by today. Let's kick the 3 and get on the board anyway? I would imagine at this point it may be a psychological advantage to get a lead in this game.
That's a good point, Mike, but I think he's going to go for it. Coast Guard's got the type of offense that can explode on you. They should be able to pick up 2 yards on a 4th down. You got to remember again that the field is not in great shape. The field goal now is a risky proposition. Jamie Roth, the field goal kicker, is an excellent kicker. He made a 45-yarder last week. But with the field in the shape it is, I wouldn't be surprised to see Coast Guard go for this.
Well, that would surprise me a little bit because, like I say, they are inside. They've got good field position, but it looks like he's going to go for it. So this is a very, very big play here for Wesleyan, Mick, because if they can stop him, you know, that would really give them a big boost after coughing up the ball. So here we go, 4th and 2. Huge play early on in this ballgame. Let's see what Renowski and the troops do. My guess is Herter. Renowski pitches, and it is good to number 34, Dan Kenny. He rambles into the end zone for a touchdown for Coast Guard. They're on the board.
Perfectly executed play for the Bears. 4th down and 2.
You are right down there on the line with these guys.
Renowski makes a great decision there. He held on to the ball as long as he possibly could. Kenny had a huge hole to go through.
And the extra point by Jamie Roth is good. So early on in this ball game, Mick, I guess the Wesleyan mistake proves a little bit costly. Here's another look at the touchdown.
Renowski makes a great play there right before he got hit. The pitch to Kenny, huge hole, rambles into the end zone to give Coast Guard the first score of the ball game.
And I guess we should mention Kevin Spencer knows that his ball club has got to play their best game of the year right now. Coming off a big win over Bates last week, Mick, they were sky high coming in, but he knew that they really can't get behind the Coast Guard because, as you mentioned earlier, they are such an explosive ball club.
They are an explosive ball club, and they're also a ball control offense. So if Coast Guard can get ahead by a couple touchdowns, it's going to spell big trouble for Wesleyan because Coast Guard has been known to hold the ball for 6-7 minutes a drive, and it could really eat up the clock.
7-0. Coast Guard leads it. 11:45 left in the first half. Here's your receivers now. Back for Wesleyan. Short kick. And it is popped up, but recovered once again by Wesleyan. Matt Moravec got the punt, but he coughed it up. Unfortunately for Wesleyan, boy, that would have been devastating had they lost the ball again, Mick.
It sure would have. You see Coach Bell urging his defense on. That would have been a big break for Coast Guard. Kevin Spencer's got to be telling his guys now, pick the ball up and just go down with it. Don't even bother running as we take another look at it.
And hold on to the ball.
Moravec, the freshman, gets hit, coughs it up, but fortunately for Wesleyan, it was recovered.
Kowski now. And once again, the ball is jarred loose, but I believe it was ruled down.
Big hit on the play by Mike Monago.
Boy, and is he a big kid. Stood next to him the other day. He is nothing but solid rock. A gain of just a yard now for the Cardinals on that play. It'll be 2nd and 9. And Lukowski, I would imagine right now, wants to strike back quick, Mick. And I like that, quick, Mick.
It's key for Wesleyan to score. Answer that Coast Guard touchdown with a score of their own, but they got to take their time. There's plenty of time left in the half.
I believe, was to number 35, Bill Buckley, for the Cardinals, but he was swarmed once again by the Coast Guard defense, and they are sky high as well.
Led again by Monago, and last week, as we take another look, linebacker trio of Monago, Nuzum, and Ekholm combined for 34 tackles 5 sacks. They also had a fumble recovery and an interception. A good day's work for them last week.
3rd and 8 now at the 37-yard line for the Cardinals. Kowski has the ball. He pitches back. That's Usher. He is on his feet. He pumps it up once again. It goes out of bounds. But he was shy of the first down anyway, I do believe.
Take another look at it. Pitch to Usher. Striving for the extra yards. He runs over one Coast Guard tackler, but gets hit and fumbles again. It's about the 3rd or 4th time they fumbled the ball, and the ball's gone out of bounds. So Wesleyan dodging a few bullets here, Mike.
And Dave Beck was on that play. The ball rolled out of bounds, but he was all over it. Now dropping back. Punt, and you could just see it. It just stuck there, Vic. I mean, the ball was up, the punt came up, it just stuck and didn't move when it hit the ground. It stopped dead at the 30-yard line.
And I think as the game wears on, the field's going to get a little bit worse, especially between the 40-yard lines. Those are the worst spots right now. By the end of the game, they're just going to be a mess, and it's just going to be difficult footing for both teams.
Even Doughty, the freshman halfback, was back there to receive that punt. Couldn't do anything with it because, as we said, the ball never went anywhere. So now it's 1st and 10 for Coast Guard. 10 minutes left in the half. Herder has the ball, and he pulls forward for about 4 yards on the play.
Tackled by Carter Heller. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the United States Coast Guard Academy, Wesleyan University, and TV 26 is prohibited.
2nd and 8 now. The clock ticking down in the 2nd quarter. Handoff once again goes to Scott Herder. And not much doing there again. It'll be 3rd down now for Coast Guard. I think we should talk a little bit about some of the stats in the 1st quarter. Wesleyan yards rushing, they had 41 on the ground. Coast Guard had 58 passing yards, no yards total. Well, there you have it, 41 for Wesleyan, 58 for the Coast Guard. Time of possession, Coast Guard had it for 8 minutes and 15 seconds, and Wesleyan had the ball for 6:45. 3rd and 4 now, big play once again for the Bears. And it is dropped at the line, but picked up quickly by Tyranowski. Now he's running out of room, and he is finally tripped up by number 47 for Wesleyan. That is Carter Heller, the junior, 6'1", 200-pound left inside linebacker. And a nice job because Ranowski, if you give him some room, Mick, even though there's nothing there, he can make a whole lot out of nothing.
Norm Bollier had him behind the line of scrimmage. Ranowski slipped away, but Heller was there to tackle him. And it's a good thing because if Ranowski had been able to get to the outside, Mike, he had lots of open space between him and the goal line.
That's exactly right. There's your punter for Coast Guard, Jeff Farley, the sophomore. There's the receiver for Wesleyan, Tony Garver once again. He's only 5'9", Mick, 170 pounds, but I guess you can move that way, huh? Garver has it, likes to try and run with it. Boy, does he pay the price. Picked it up at the 35-yard line, tried to go forward, and Coast Guard said no way.
Bears have had excellent special teams coverage so far in the game. As I mentioned before, Garver already has 1 punt return for a touchdown this year, but so far he hasn't been able to do anything against Coast Guard.
So Wesleyan now once again takes possession of the ball. 8 minutes left in the half. Score is 7-0 Coast Guard. Kowski hands off, and a pretty good gain. There's number 35, Bill Buckley. Have a look at that play, Vic.
Buckley, a junior from Lawrence, Mass. Interesting, Mike. Coast Guard, Wesleyan that is, has seven players from Massachusetts starting on offense, and their defense is made up primarily of Massachusetts players as well. 14 starters for Wesleyan from the state of Massachusetts.
Nice job by the Coast Guard defense. Number 43, Mike Newsom. Get another look at that play. Boy, there was absolutely nothing doing there. The sophomore Mike Newsom, and he is nothing but solid rock as well, Mick. And these are all quiet guys. They're really fun guys to talk to because they don't say a heck of a lot. When they do open their mouth, they really are. They've got a lot of good things to say, and they're really, really fun to talk to.
They're the type of guys that do their talking on the football field, Mike. They love playing the game, and they're very active.
That's exactly right. 3rd down and 12 now for Wesleyan. Something's got to happen. Lukowski pitches back. That's Usher. He is going forward. Nice gain on the play, but it'll be short of the 1st down. Steve Usher with a good run and a nice pitch by Lukowski, but it wasn't enough. Take another look at it. We're right down there low on the field. You see Usher coming right toward your screen. But another nice job by the Coast Guard defense.
Mike Monago in on another tackle for Coast Guard. Stops him short and forces the punt on 4th down.
Phil Polishuk with the punt for Wesleyan. And it was Doughty back. He hasn't had a chance to really do anything on the punts, Mick.
I think what we're going to see, Mike, is basically what we've seen so far. A lot of movement in between the 30-yard lines. Not a lot of movement down close to the goal line. Unless there's a turnover, both teams are having difficulty getting the ball into the end zone.
First and 10 now for the Bears. They lead on a touchdown by Dan Kenny. Brunowski has the ball and a nice run. He moves it forward for about 8 yards in the play, and there's a good indication, a good example, Mick, of just how good and how quick Tyranowski really is.
Sees a hole, squirts right through it. Brunowski played as a tailback, believe it or not, 2 years ago. Only started 1 game. Took over as quarterback last year. Did an excellent job, led the team in rushing.
It's 2nd and 1 now. A gain of 9 on that play for Tyranowski. Hand off to Herder. And that'll be good for a 1st down. Boy, what a combination this Herder-Ranowski tandem is, Mick. They really are smooth. And Scott Herder, only a junior, so he'll be back next year. But you know these two guys really want to have a good game today. You really know that because Ranowski's getting ready to graduate, and they have really found a niche together. They have got a smooth combination going. 1st and 10 for Coast Guard. 7-0. They lead the ball game. The fake was to Herder, and it goes to number 21, Dave Brown, the junior. And there was another example. They faked to Herder. Everybody on the Wesleyan defense went right for Herder, and that gave plenty of room to Dave Brown.
A good play on the Wesleyan defensive back, Pat Flaherty, the free safety, came up from his free safety spot, made an excellent tackle to bring up a 2nd down and 7. Held that play to only a 3-yard gain.
Nothing doing there, and a nice job by number 51, Norm Bolio, and number 47, Carter Heller, for Wesleyan, not giving any room to Tyranowski on that play.
That was a busted play. Ranowski was looking for, I think, his fullback, Scott Herder. Herder was nowhere to be found. And Ranowski had to eat it. 3rd down and 8 for Coast Guard.
But like you said earlier, though, on a broken play, that sometimes is when Ranowski is most dangerous because he can just find the holes, and it is a broken down play, and sometimes the opposition defense will go to sleep a little bit. Ranowski is hit once, but he keeps going, and a penalty flag on the play. And Ranowski is hurt on that play.
Looks like his shoulder, Mike. He took quite a pop as we take another look at it.
Let's take another look. This could be very costly for Coast Guard. Came right there. Another look from the higher camera. Hit once, kept going. And finally went down. He is still down on the field.
Sean McKissick, left cornerback, was the first one to hit him.
And I'm sure Tom Bell has some anxious moments right now as he stands over his quarterback, Tyron Oski.
I don't like to speculate until we have definite word, but I think it's his shoulder, Mike. Starting to get up now.
That would be devastating for Coast Guard to lose Tyron Oski. He will come out of the ball game, at least momentarily. We'll try to get word on how serious the injury is to Oski, but we thought it was the shoulder, Mick. I see him limping now. So that he is hurt the leg somewhere, possibly the knee or the ankle. Take one more look, see if we can pick it up here. Hit once there up high, and right there is, I believe, where the injury occurred. It may have been his ankle.
Must have twisted his ankle.
Now in the ball game now is Douglas Sabose. He's the backup quarterback, the senior, and he's ready to take on the troop. And he fumbles it right away, but he finally picks it up and ends up gaining 2 yards in the play. But that's got to be some early moment jitters, Mick. Coming in this ball game, non-suspecting, but of course you've got to be ready in a big game like this.
That's right. And again, you get a new quarterback in there. It's very easy. The ball is wet. He's not used to the center, and consequently, you get a fumbled snap. Fortunately, he did the right thing. He fell right on top of it.
There is
bring up a
Tom
second
Bell.
down.
Excuse me, Mick. Tom Bell, Coast Guard coach. And I'm sure that he is hoping right now that Tyron Oski can, in fact, come back in this ballgame. 3:15 left in the half. Handoff goes to number 21, Dave Brown. And that is good for a couple of yards.
There's no doubt that Coast Guard is not the same team without Tyron Oski in the game. We saw Subox take the handoff again there. They had trouble with the snap again.
Coming in the game now once again is Kenny and Adams. Dan, Kenny, and Adams. So Sabose will go to the line. 3rd and 6 now for Coast Guard. The Wesleyan defense may be looking for the run. I would imagine they're looking for the run, and they'll probably be looking for Herder. It is. Actually, Sabose held on to the ball, faked to Herder, but it's not enough for a first down, and Coast Guard will have to punt it away.
Take another look at it. Subox on the option, keeps it. Comes up short of the first down. Greg Ballerino, the right inside linebacker, in on the tackle for Wesleyan.
There is your punter and your receiver. Garber, and it goes into the end zone. It's a touchback, and Wesleyan will take over on the 20-yard line.
Now we've got a report on the Trinity Williams game. Trinity leads Williams in the
So a minute 56 remaining in this first half. I'm sure Tom Bell will be concerned as they approach the locker room. Going in at halftime, Mick, not knowing what is going to happen with Tyron Oski. I'm sure he's got to have him back in the ballgame.
Bernowski is headed to the locker room already. I'm sure they'll probably ice down his ankle if it's starting to swell up, maybe take a couple x-rays. But right now, Coach Bell, all he wants to do is get into the locker room with the lead that he has right
now. Meanwhile, Jim Lukowski will try to at least get some points on the board here for his ball club. They trail 7-0. Here's another look at that play. But nothing doing. That Coast Guard line is very, very strong. Clock continues to wind down. 2nd and 10 now. No gain on the play. Lukowski looks like he's going to run it. He is. And once again, no yardage. Good coverage there by the Coast Guard defense. Number 42, excuse me, Ryan Ekholm. The sophomore, 5'10", 207-pounder. Good coverage on the play.
Take another look at it. Excellent defense by Coast Guard. Their front. Excellent defense by Coast Guard. Their front 7 is really doing the job.
And now another injury for Coast Guard, number 97. That's Mike Monago. They can't afford to lose him on defense either.
have a feeling he'll be back, Mike. He's a tough kid to take out of the lineup.
He sure is, but two tough injuries to some very key players now for Coast Guard. 3rd and 11 for Wesleyan. A loss on that play. Kowski runs to the right, pitches back. Usher, nothing much doing, and he lost more yardage on that play, so the Coast Guard defense doing a number right now on Wesleyan.
Mark Hindle, the left cornerback, came up, made an excellent tackle. Got help from Eric St. Michel. The Coast Guard's defense is playing extremely well, and really right now, as Coast Guard calls a timeout, with 37 seconds left in the half, Coast Guard's doing an excellent job, and they're really forcing the issue with Wesleyan. I think if Wesleyan's gonna try and move the ball on the Coast Guard defense, Mike, they're gonna have to throw the ball. They haven't, I don't even think they've attempted a pass yet, and Coast Guard's defensive backs are really coming up tight. They might be vulnerable to a pass right now, and that would be the best strategy for Wesleyan. Go into halftime and try and take a look and see if they can start a passing game, because they're not doing much on the ground.
They sure are. 37 seconds left. They will be forced to put it away, and I'm sure that Tom Bell at this point knows that he will get good field position and might entertain thoughts of getting at least 3 more points before halftime. Doughty was once again the punt receiver, but the ball comes up at about the 37-yard line. Coast Guard will have 29 seconds to work their offense, and once again, Doug Sabose will try to make something happen for Coast Guard. Mick, what do you think they have to do? How far inside Wesleyan territory do you think they have to go to even think about kicking a field goal?
They've got to get at least 20 yards, Mike, and that's kind of pushing it on a day like this. It's cold and it's windy.
Sabose the count. Somebody jumped for Wesleyan. We'll have to see if it was a motion call or if it was a procedure call, I should say. And he may have been drawn off. We'll have to wait and see what the call is, Nick.
I think it's going to be offsides.
Pressure applied by number 79 for Wesleyan.
Subox again having difficulty with the snap from center.
Sides on the defense. I motion on the blue. The penalties refused. First down.
Okay, so the penalty's offset. 2 penalties on the play, 1 for each side. So
for Coast Guard.
You heard the call.
At Wesleyan's 37-yard line.
Subak in now for Coast Guard. 25 seconds remaining, first half. Number 80, Rob Gandolfo is split wide. Delano Adams is to the left. And 34, Dan Kenny is in motion. And he'll put it up. And Delano Adams can't handle it, but it was a tough pass from Subak.
Adams should have had that one. It was right in his hand. I think what he tried to do was run before he caught the ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mick, I'm going to give him a break on this play because, first of all, number 1, I thought the pass was high, and number 2, it's a slippery ball. So let's, if we got a chance to take another look at it, maybe we can, but not that I'm questioning your better judgment, but it was I think it was a tough pass. All right, 2nd and 10 now, 22 seconds left in the first half. Subak hands off, fakes to Herder, puts it up. Almost complete to number 34, Dan Kenny. And boy, that, Mick, I think that would have put him at least in the mode to think about a field goal.
Big hit by Pat Flaherty as we take another look at it. Kenny had the ball, but Flaherty's hit jarred it loose. And you're right, Mike, they would have been in Jamie Ross' range if Kenny would have been able to hold on to that ball. Still 16 seconds left, 3rd down and 10. For the Cadets.
16 seconds left. They'll try another play now. He's going to put it up again. Subak looking over the middle. Almost complete. And that one, Mick, that one, no doubt, should have been caught by number 94, Rob Wilbur. The senior at 6'4", that one was a very catchable ball.
It sure was, Mike, as we take another look at it. Roll up out by Subox. Good pass. Wilbur should have had it. And again, just the little things like lack of concentration. The wet football, you got to make sure you get a hold of it and tuck it away. Wilbur tried to run with the ball before he had possession. Coast Guard will be able to be forced to punt with 10 seconds left. And I would assume Wesleyan's going to try and block it and make something happen here.
Well, why not just try another play, Mick? You've got 4th down, 10 seconds left.
They're going to try a field goal, believe it or not, Mike. It's going to be about a 53-yarder. Jamie Roth is on the field.
Other winners included Captain Carl Zattel,
sophomore.
Well, he's got the wind on his side. The wind is blowing from left to right on your screen. So he will have the wind in his favor, but still a heck of a kick. And if he ever put this one through the uprights, you would hear a tremendous roar from this crowd here at Coast Guard Academy. That's for sure.
He made a 45-yarder last week's game, Mike.
Subox will hold. It is down, and it's going to come up short to the right. A good try by Jamie Roth, but not nearly enough.
4 seconds left.
Roth's an interesting story. Coach Bell was telling us the other day, in the first game of the year against Merchant Marine, Roth missed the first extra point of the game, and Coach Bell thought about trading him to the Merchant Marine Academy for a couple tugboats and a navigation map.
I'll tell you what, Tom Bell sure has a humor all his own, that is for sure. He is an interesting guy. And while you're on the subject of coaches, Mick, Kevin Spencer is quite a character as well. He really knows how to get his team pumped up, and boy, he's got a job ahead of him at halftime to get his team back in this ballgame. The handoff now, they haven't given up. No time left on the clock. Bill Buckley had the ball, but that brings us to the close of the first half.
Take another look at the play. Another angle. Buckley picks out his hole, gets about 20 yards on the play. But time runs out on Wesleyan. Don't forget, they will get the second half kickoff, and they trail right now 7-0.
Okay, so as the teams leave the field here at halftime, your score at halftime: the Coast Guard Academy Bears 7, Wesleyan Cardinals nothing. We'll be back with halftime festivities, a look at both schools, and interviews right after these messages.
Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Coast Guard Academy.
I've been looking all over for this terrific video cassette I heard about. It's called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports. There's scenes where Darryl Dawkins renovates NBA backboards.
That's a fantastic video. My favorite part is when Billie Jean King turns Bobby Riggs into tennis's court jester.
I hear there's a scene where a West German golfer shoots for birdie from a pretty strange place.
I love it where George Brett calmly disputes his pine tar home run. The all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports is 45 minutes of the funniest film I've ever seen.
Great, so you have it.
No store has this version.
Now what do I do?
You get it free.
Let me understand. You don't have the video, but you're going to tell me how to get it free.
Right.
Am I missing something?
You're missing out on Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated? I love SI. What does Sports Illustrated have to do with it?
You get the all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports free with your paid subscription.
Oh, I let my subscription run out.
Well, now's a perfect time to go for it again. You get 25 weeks of America's best sports coverage, including the Pro Football Preview and the beautiful swimsuit issue.
I love that.
You even get the big Summer Olympic special issue and the commemorative Olympic pin set.
And the all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
You get it all.
I do? How?
Just call Sports Illustrated's toll-free number.
Hold on, all that great footage, that video's really worth having.
I ought to know.
Yeah, I'll bet they raised the price of the magazine, right?
It's over 47% off the cover price. Just 3 monthly installments of $9.89 each. You can even put it on a credit card.
No kidding. I get 25 weeks of SI, including the Pro Football Preview, the Summer Olympic special issue, Olympic pin set, the swimsuit issue, and the video cassette free.
You get it all. Just call 1-800-284-8686.
I gotta get to a phone. What's that number again?
Here, 1-800-284-8686. Hi,
Have you heard of a video cassette called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
This is WTWS TV 26, New London, Groton, Norwich.
Welcome back to the Coast Guard Academy. We're at halftime. Coast Guard leading Wesleyan 7-0. And you know, Coast Guard is a unique and special place in its own right. Now let's take an inside look at the United States Coast Guard Academy.
The United States Coast Guard Academy. Nestled on a wooded hillside overlooking the Thames River in historic New London, Connecticut, the nation's smallest service academy opens its gates each year to more than 300 high-caliber, motivated, and qualified high school graduates who demonstrate a desire to serve their country's nautical heritage. With an enrollment of about 900 students, the Coast Guard Academy is far from a typical college. The academy shapes bright, eager cadets into highly polished Coast Guard officers. Its goal each year is to graduate young men and women with sound bodies, stout hearts, and alert minds with a liking for the sea and its lore. Striving for academic excellence for over a century, the Academy offers Bachelor of Science degrees in a variety of technical and non-technical majors. Graduates receive a commission as ensigns in the U.S. Coast Guard. It's a big commitment. Only the best are accepted, and only the toughest make it through. Once graduated, the new ensigns take to the sea, sky, or shore, leading the men and women of the United States Coast Guard. Students accepted to the Academy become part of a nautical tradition respected worldwide. But by far, everyone yearns for the day they pit their newfound skills against the sea aboard the nation's only commissioned sail training vessel. The Coast Guard Bark Eagle is 295 feet of sheer excitement. Visiting ports across the globe, the floating classroom provides leadership training and exposes cadets to nature's forces in a way no land classroom could offer. A staple of America's seafaring history since 1876, the Coast Guard Academy continues to maintain the traditions of its legacy, but at the same time continues to ready young Coast Guard officers for the challenges of the 21st century.
And welcome back. We hope you enjoyed that look at the Academy. And standing by right now is the Superintendent of the United States Coast Guard Academy, Admiral Caroni, with Mike Rattay. Gentlemen?
All right, thank you, Mick. And with me is an interesting gentleman here at the Coast Guard Academy, Admiral Richard Caroni, and a 1953 graduate of the Coast Guard Academy. Homecoming is always a special day.
It really is, Mike. It's really the special day of the year here, besides graduation. Those are the two big days of the year. And we're just delighted to have all of our alum backs this year.
We were talking earlier, such a tough day, a miserable day, actually, with the weather. Not the kind of game that you would normally expect to see under drier conditions.
No, not really. And I keep waiting for our kids to break it open, and with the weather the way it is, why they haven't been able to do it. It's been a good football game so far, though. I think both teams are hitting pretty well. And it's a good, clean rivalry that we've had for many, many years. We enjoy Wesleyan.
Talk a little bit about this tradition here at Coast Guard Academy, the football program. Maybe you can give us a little bit of insight. A tremendous acquisition in getting Tom Bell here. What a job he has done with this program.
Well, my predecessor, Ed Nelson, who was a classmate, by the way, was the one that hired Tommy Bell here, and Ed just did a great job in getting him. Tom Bell is one of the people who is such a positive person, and he projects that kind of positive feelings into kids, and he really gets them up. And the thing I like about Tom Bell is I came down the other day for practice, and I said, where are the fourth class, our freshmen? He said, they got an exam tomorrow, Admiral. They're up studying.
That's great. That's a great philosophy. And you talk, the guys are such gentlemen on the field as well, because we talk, Nick and I were talking a couple of minutes ago that these guys do their talking on the field, but you talk to them in the school, at the academy, on the street. They're such gentlemen, and I think it's a tribute to the way everybody approaches this game, and everything is put in its place.
They really are. You know, you're looking at the cream of American youth here. Our young men, our young women really are. They're super kids, and my wife and I enjoy them so much. It's really a great place to be.
Admiral Caroni, I want to thank you for joining us here at halftime. Keep up the good work. Just a tremendous job here at Coast Guard Academy, and we're all proud of the job that everyone here is doing.
Well, I'd like to thank you too, Mike, and Channel 26 for all the things you've done for the Coast Guard Academy.
Well, we appreciate you coming on with us. Thank you very much. Admiral Richard Caroni of the Coast Guard Academy, he's the superintendent here. Now let's talk about a legend, Otto Graham. What more can you say about this guy? A legend in football, both here at the Coast Guard Academy and in the pro ranks. Earlier, we had a chance to sit down, Mick did, and talk with Otto Graham.
Graham drops back to pass. Lifts one downfield. There's a receiver in the open, Dante Lavelli, who goes in to score, and the Browns lead 14.
I don't, not many people know this, but not only were you a great football player, but you were an excellent basketball player as well, and you started off at Northwestern on a basketball scholarship.
That's true, Mick. I did go on a basketball scholarship, although I was also an all-state football player, and the first year I played just basketball. Second year I was invited out for football. Pappy Waldorf saw me playing intramural football, won the championship, and I went out for spring football, had a good spring practice, and that time on, of course, I liked it, and I played both. In fact, I didn't play baseball. I played baseball 2 years to get out of spring football after that, so that's where I went anyway.
Now, after college, after a great college career, you went to the Cleveland Browns, first player to sign with the Browns, and head coach Paul Brown, and you led the Browns in 10 years to 10 division titles and 7 world championships.
Yes, we were lucky and good, both, quite honestly. I think we were lucky because we played at a time where there were a lot fewer football teams. Now in the NFL today, there's 28, I guess, whatever it is. And we won the championship 4 straight years in the old All-American Conference. And we joined the NFL, and everybody said at the time we'd have a hard time, probably get beaten all the time, you know, and of course, we didn't think we could. We thought a good football team, and we had a chance to prove it in our very first game against the Eagles, and who had been the previous champions, and for 2 years, and we defeated them by easily at 38-10, I guess it was. Went on and won many tough ball games, and lost to the Giants twice that year, and beat them in a playoff, and then of course defeated the Rams in the championship game. So I think we proved that we belonged in the big leagues.
Looking back at the old films, I remember one play in particular. It was in 1950 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're under incredible pressure, and you got the ball off to Marion Motley, and he broke about 5 tackles, tiptoed down the sidelines, and scored a great touchdown.
Well, I wouldn't say he tiptoed. He was too big to tiptoe, but I recall it very vividly because I've seen it many, many times, reruns and so forth, that I wanted to get the pass off. My basketball training came in handy because I was able to get it up high and flick it over the outstretched hands, got knocked down, he caught the ball, and of course the defensive players made a mistake. They tried to knock him out of bounds instead of tackling him. And Marion's pretty hard to knock down. He's, 6'3", 238 pounds, and very, very strong. And so they didn't do it. He went in a touchdown. I recall that very, very well.
Otto, in 1963, you led Coast Guard to an unbeaten season. You played in the Tangerine Bowl, their first bowl appearance. Then you moved on to the NFL with the Washington Redskins. Having coached the NFL and here in the college level, what's the biggest difference between the two?
Well, Mick, I would say the biggest difference, first of all, is size. Our line averaged in those days about 185, 90. There were these 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet at the most. These today, Coast Guard is 235, 6'3". Professional ball, my gosh, they were 6'5", 6'6", 280, and so forth. Run like deers, Weight training programs made a big difference, of course, these days. The kids here at the academy have a lot of fun. They play because they want to play football. Professional football, it's a job. They're great athletes, but you have to motivate them, too. So you don't have to motivate these kids in college, at least the Division III football anyway. And I enjoyed my coaching with the Redskins. I always tell everybody laughingly that my real claim to fame isn't All-American football, All-American basketball player, and that type of thing, coaching here and there, so forth. My real claim to fame is it took Vince Lombardi to replace me with the Redskins, which he did do, by the way. And I'm glad I coached with the Redskins because I learned an awful lot. I learned also that I don't belong in that coaching of professional football because my philosophy is to go out there and have fun. Sure, you're disappointed if you lose, but you have fun. In professional football today, it's win or else. If you don't win, the media gets on top of you, the fans get on you and so forth, and you don't last long. You lose your job. Here at the Coast Guard Academy, you're dealing with high-class kids. They're here to become Coast Guard officers, not be football players. They play football because they want to, other sports and so forth. And so it's fun molding kids like this that don't have the great amount of talent, but yet you can mold them into a good football team. And that's what we did, And of course, I molded them into a good passing type of football team when I was here because we could not muscle anybody. As I said many, many times, we had to out-finesse them. I enjoyed it very much, and if I had to go back in my life again and live it over again, I wouldn't do it any different. I would be here at the Coast Guard Academy like I had for many, many years, I guess 22 years or so forth. Enjoyed every moment of it, and it's a highlight of my career.
NFL Hall of Fame quarterback Adam Graham, one of the greatest quarterbacks to play the game. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
We're at halftime at the United States Coast Guard Academy. A halftime score, Coast Guard 7 and Wesleyan nothing. Back with more halftime festivities in a moment.
National Tire brings you the best tires at the best price that New London County has to offer. If you find a lower price advertised anywhere in New London County, National Tires will refund the difference. Select from all major tire brands such as Firestone, Michelin, Goodyear, Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and more. National Tire also offers free spin balance, free rotation, and free valve stems. Save money, save time. Call our tire hotline now. That's 739-4047, or drive into your nearest National Tire store today.
Florence Klaus runs a small business in Danielson. Jerry Lamb and Alan Pesh expanded their small business in North Stonington, hiring 66 new employees. They've never met, but they've got something in common with all these people. They've all been helped by Sam Gadenson. He worked to bring billions of dollars in new business to Eastern Connecticut, more jobs, and a stronger economy. 2 good reasons to stand up and cheer. Sam Gadenson, a congressman we can count on.
The Bears lead the Cardinals 7-0 at halftime. Earlier, we had a chance to show you the United States Coast Guard Academy. Now let's take a look at Wesleyan University.
When higher education devoted itself mostly to the study of the classics in philosophy, Wesleyan University was a leader in modernizing the curriculum by adding natural sciences almost from the beginning. In the 1870s, it pioneered in the education of women and was one of the first colleges to actively recruit minority students. The financial aid program was among the first to meet the full need of all students, promoting the diversity of the student body. Wesleyan occupies 120 scenic acres in Middletown, Connecticut. It is one of the nation's most selective colleges of the liberal arts and sciences, drawing its 2,700 undergraduate men and women from all 50 states and abroad. Wesleyan's Van Leck Observatory houses Connecticut's largest telescope. The Science Center contains a computing center and advanced laboratories where undergraduates take part in research projects often reserved for graduate students at many universities. Olin Memorial Library, with its recent $10 million addition, contains 1 million volumes. Here, in an academically intense atmosphere, athletics is for everyone. More than half of Wesleyan students compete in varsity or intramural sports.
Wesleyan is a place where the term scholar-athlete really has significant meaning. The students here have their lives centered around their academic lives, the courses they're taking, their interaction with faculty. But there's plenty of room left for athletics and other kinds of extracurricular activities. The students here really tend to take whatever they do very seriously. So there's a real intensity to not only their academic lives, but their involvement in athletics. It's kind of interesting to me to note the symbolism of the football field being in the center of the campus, in the shadows of the library. I think that represents something about Wesleyan. We're concerned about a student's total development so that their intellectual growth is important to us, but also their growth as human beings, to develop their talents and interests beyond the academic. And it's that really merging, the coalescing of those two aspects of their education, which I think lead them to be fuller human beings.
Wesleyan played its first intercollegiate football game in 1881. The university believes its team threw the first legal overhand forward pass in a 1906 football game against Yale, although a few other schools dispute the claim. Today, Wesleyan belongs to the New England Small College Athletic Conference, a collection of 11 academically strong small colleges. As a strict regulatory body, the conference helps maintain the integrity of athletics in an academic setting by limiting practice starting dates, the number of contests, and recruiting options. Wesleyan fields 29 varsity teams for men and women and does not offer athletic scholarships.
In November 1989, Wesleyan will complete a $20 million physical education center that will house a 50-meter pool, a 200-meter track, and a 4-court activity area with 147,000 square feet. It will be one of the finest campus sports centers in New England and will support the university's belief that physical activity is a vital part of a liberal education.
And standing by with Wesleyan Athletic Director John Biddiscombe is Mike Rattay. Michael?
All right, Mick, standing by with me is John Biddiscombe, the athletic director at Wesleyan University. I'm sure there's some excitement in Middletown today, John.
Well, yes. The university is very excited about appearing on TV today. In fact, many of the students are gathered at the Wesleyan Campus Center in front of a large screen TV to watch the contest today.
Well, it's our pleasure to be bringing it back to Middletown, but give us some insight on the second half here. Your team is down 7-0, and Kevin Spencer, I'm sure you have a lot of faith in him. What do we look for in the second half?
Well, Mike, we haven't been able to get our passing game going yet, and that's an integral part of our offense. The Veer offense is predicated on the fact that you can make the defense stay honest with both the pass and the run. So we look forward to getting our passing game going in the second half.
All righty, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on with us, John Biddiscombe. Best of luck and continued success at Wesleyan.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's John Biddiscombe. I'm Mike Rattay. I'll be along with Mick Bolduc to go over some halftime statistics and some highlights right after we come back. The score, Coast Guard 7, Wesleyan nothing.
Today's Wesleyan Coast Guard football game is brought to you in part by Caldrello Motor Group, the right choice for all the right reasons. By Miller Johnson Incorporated, Meriden, Connecticut, for your creative printing needs. By WCNX Radio, 1150 AM, Middlesex County's news and information leader. By the Farmers and Mechanics Savings Bank, we take your banking personally. By National Tire, drive to your National Tire store today. And by Congressman Sam Gagenson.
The #1 fitness exercise in the world is cross-country skiing. And now it can be duplicated in your home with Easy Glider. Just 20 minutes every other day. An hour a week is all it takes to strengthen and firm all major muscle groups and lose weight aerobically. You can burn up to 360 calories per workout, plus tone chest, arms and back, calves, thighs, and buttocks. Notice the quality construction of the sturdy metal frame. This handsome unit folds down quickly for easy storage. Other ski simulators cost as much as $500. But Easy Glider is yours for just 3 easy payments of $19.95, and your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. Grab the bargain. Call toll-free now. Call toll-free 1-800-272-6100. We'll bill your credit card 3 easy payments of just $19.95 each. Get a 60-day home trial before the last payment is billed. The total price, $59.85 plus $9 shipping and handling. Call 1-800-272-6100 now.
This is WTWS TV 26, New London, Groton, Norwich.
At the Coast Guard Academy, 7-0 you score. The Coast Guard Bears lead the Wesleyan Cardinals 7-0 as we await the start of the second half. There's a take a look at the Eagle and the Vigorous out there along the Thames River. Mick, let's go over some statistics at halftime.
Take a look at the first downs. Mike, Coast Guard with 7, Wesleyan with 4. Rushing yards, Coast Guard with 108, Wesleyan with just 56. Neither team has been able to move the ball through the air. I think there's only been a couple passes attempted, 6 total as a matter of fact. Coast Guard 0 for 5, Wesleyan just 0 for 1. Total yards, 117 for Coast Guard, just 39 for Wesleyan. Turnovers, 1 for each team, and time of possession is just about even. But if you look back at the first half stats, that 39 yards total offense for Wesleyan, really, that tells the whole story. Coast Guard has just been able to shut down Jim Lukowski and the entire Wesleyan offense.
That's exactly right. We talk a lot about mistakes and turnovers, and 20 yards penalized to Wesleyan in the first half, no yards penalized to Coast Guard, so no mistakes there by Coast Guard. Rushing, we can talk about that a little bit. Scott Herter for Coast Guard. 11 attempts, he had 58 yards as we begin the second half now, and no word yet on the condition of Coast Guard's quarterback, Ty Ranowski. You remember at the end of the first half, he had to be helped off the field.
We've gotten word, Mike, that Renoski will play in the second half. He went out there for the coin toss for the second half. He was running on his ankle, which he hurt. So that's a good sign for Coast Guard, and they missed him in the time that he was out.
Alrighty, so there you have it. Renoski will be back. The kickoff comes down. And it was taken down there by Tony Garver for Wesleyan. So they will take over now, 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Just underway, second half.
And this is an important possession for Wesleyan, Mike. They've got to prove that they can move the ball up and down the field.
Cold, dreary day all over Connecticut. So relax and spend the afternoon with us. We've got a great ball game going here. Nothing much doing there for Wesleyan on that play.
Again, good front defense by Coast Guard. Coast Guard's front three and their linebackers, their front four and their linebackers are doing an excellent job of shutting down Wesleyan's running game.
Okay, so that brings up a second down now, 9 yards to go. The Cardinals. He will try to get his troops back on track here. He keeps it. And it's good for about 8 yards for Lukowski as he approaches the 45-yard line. He is stopped at about the 43. It'll be 3rd down and 3 now for the Wesleyan Cardinals. Here's another look at the run by Lukowski.
Another angle, the tackle made by Tom Miller, a strong safety, but not before Lukowski picked up about 7 yards. Big 3rd down here for Wesleyan.
They call it 3rd and 2 now. As the wind picks up here at Memorial Field. Lukowski holds onto it again. Now he pitches out, and it'll be good for a 1st down. Number 35, Bill Buckley, took the pitch out from Lukowski, and it's good for a 1st down. They'll move the chains. Mick?
Take a look at it again, coming right at you. Good block on the play by number 49, Matt Moravik, the freshman from Haddam. Really made that 1st down possible with a key block, sealing off the outside pursuit.
Bill Buckley in the right place right there, the fullback. He's a junior, 5'11", 185 pounds. Now it's going to be put up by Lukowski. He had a man open, but he missed him.
That was
the intent was for Glenn Frankel, and boy, did he ever have him wide open, Mick.
Frankel was wide open. If Lukowski could have got the ball in his hands, it would have been 6 points. But I think that's what Wesleyan has to do, Mike. They have to throw the ball more, and they have to throw it when Coast Guard's expecting them to run, because as you can see there, the defensive secondary was all pushed up, and Frankel was easily behind the defense.
Strong wind now going in the direction of the Wesleyan offense, and I guess we can look for them to put the ball up more now when they're going with the wind. Now, a nice job running by number 35 again, Bill Buckley, and that'll be good for another 1st down for Wesleyan. So now they're moving the ball on the ground, Mick.
Take a look at it again. Buckley, right up the middle, makes a nice move, hops over a couple people, and picks up the 1st down.
The Cardinals moving the ball now on the ground.
See Buckley, the junior fullback, 5'11", 185.
Number 81, Drew Marashalo, splits wide to the right. Long count now for Lukowski. He's going to hold on. No, he pitches back. Once again, Buckley, but nothing doing, as he admit by number 20, Mark Hindle, for the Coast Guard Bears.
Ryan Heckholm coming right at you. Ryan Heckholm makes an excellent play here. Comes up, and he's the first one to hit Buckley. Then he got help from Mark Hindle on the play. Good team defense by Coast Guard. A loss of 1 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 11.
12-11 left into the third quarter. We're just underway, second half. Coast Guard leads at 7-0. Lekowski, though, and his troops, the Wesleyan Cardinals, on the move. He's going to look to pass it again. He puts it up. He's got a receiver open, and it is just out of the grasp of number 81, Drew Marashalo, the sophomore, 5'9", 175 pounds. And Mick, once again, that would have been a tougher catch, but still a possible catch right. It could have been caught.
Here's a good look at it. You see Lekowski going back, and he leads Marichello just a little too much.
Well, it was. As we took another look, it would have been a great catch, but good coverage by the Bears. And now I think they're looking for the pass a little bit more, Mick. I think the first time when he put it up, they were surprised, but now they know that Wesleyan is not afraid to put the ball in the air. Third down and 11 now. Pitch is to Usher, and nothing doing. Mark Hindle and the core down there.
Ryan Ekholm in on another tackle for Coast Guard.
Matt Hunter was down there, number 91 as well. That brings up a 4th and 11 now for the Wesleyan Cardinals.
Bear defense stiffened when it had to.
Bill Polishuk puts it away with the win. And Doughty waved for a fair catch. That was a strange play, Mick, because it looked like he waved for a fair catch and then let it go over his head. And now we see flags on the play.
If the penalty doesn't go against Wesleyan, Coast Guard will be forced to start from about their own 3-yard line. We'll see what the call is.
This could be a big call because they are deep in their territory.
Illegal block!
Let's go to the call so we can get the call. I heard illegal block, Mick.
I think it was an illegal block by Coast Guard. That'll drive him back even further. Put the ball on about the 2.
Let's get the call now from the referee.
We had an illegal block. The fair catch signal or gave a signal and then threw a block. It's first down.
Okay, so there you go. He did signal for the fair catch, and then a block was thrown, so they call that an illegal block. That puts Coast Guard at their 1-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Coast Guard, and you can be looking for the Wesleyan Cardinals to be playing some tough defense now. Radowski back in the lineup. The handoff.
Fumble.
And a fumble. The handoff was to number 21, Dave Brown. He fumbled it up, and Wesleyan recovers at the 3-yard line of Coast Guard, and that is huge, Mick, to get the Cardinals back in the game.
I believe it was number 51, Norm Bollier, with the recovery for Wesleyan. Take another look at it. Kenny gets hit, and I believe it was Bollier with the recovery for Wesleyan. In any event, a big turnover right there. And this is just like it happened for Coast Guard. They picked up a Wesleyan fumble at the 20 and drove in for their only score. So let's see if the Cardinals can capitalize on this big opportunity.
1st and goal now for the Cardinals. The handoff, and he is hit hard by number 11 for Coast Guard, Eric St. Michel.
Big play by St. Michel. Take another look at it. No one touched him. He just ran right in. And a loss of 2 for Wesleyan.
They're inside the 5. They're at the 4-yard line. They've got to get the ball in the end zone. This is as good as opportunity as the Cardinals will get today. Lekowski has a man in motion now. And he goes to the left, and he'll get in the end zone. Touchdown, Wesleyan.
Great call by Wesleyan. Lekowski kept that one. Coast Guard's defense was expecting a play to the wide side of the field. Lekowski kept it, went around and untouched for the touchdown, and now the Cardinals will go for the extra point and the tie. Take another look at it. Nothing fancy about that.
Jim Lukowski, we talked about him at the top of the show, and boy, when you need a touchdown or when you need a big play, he's the guy to look to. Now here comes the extra point for Wesleyan. It's up, and it's good. The extra point by Tony Stevenson, and we've got a tie ball game. And boy, is this ever shaping up, Mick Bolduc, to be a great football game here at Coast Guard.
Coast Guard had all the momentum, Mike. But that turnover, we mentioned again, turnovers are going to be the key. You can't have your fullback or your running backs turning the ball over deep in your territory. Both teams now have committed 2 big mistakes, and they both led to touchdowns.
10:35 left in the third quarter, and boy, we'll have to talk later, but popping the football up that deep in your own territory is a cardinal, pardon the pun, sin.
Now it's up to Coast Guard to get a little bit of the momentum back. Ty Ranoski had just gotten back into the game, first handoff, so we'll have to see if that ankle holds up. There's Tony Stevenson kicking off. Take a look at the deep receivers for Coast Guard.
Dropping back deep for Coast Guard, Jeff Farley. And number 32, it's Matthew Perlaski. And it goes to Farley. He is on the move, over the 25 to the 30, to the 35, 40. He is up on the sideline. He is going, and he is brought down by number 49 for Wesleyan, Matt Moravec. And if it had not been for Moravec, he was gone, Mick.
Great blocking. They set up the wall. And if it wasn't for Moravec, that would have been 6 points. You're right, Mike. He had one man to beat.
Here it comes again. Farley. Nothing up the middle, goes left. Right along the sideline. And you can see him finally brought down. Here's a better angle, and you'll get a better look at it right here. You can see just how much daylight there was between Farley and the end zone, Mick. Back live now, Ranoski on the move. And he doesn't look hurting at all, Mick.
Just back to Farley for a second. That was a pretty good return for the starting punter.
That's exactly right.
There's Ranoski back in the game. We'll see if that ankle gives him any problems. 2nd down and 5 for Coast Guard. Big opportunity here for the Bears.
They are at the 32-yard line of the Cardinals. Coast Guard would like nothing better than to come back with a score after that big mistake by the Bears. The pitch now. Number 34, Dan Kenny. And not much there, but he still managed to get a couple of yards on the play.
Just a reminder, our next TV 26 sports presentation will be on Saturday, October 29th, as the Falcons of Fitch take on the NFA Wildcats. Catch all the action beginning at 10:30 a.m. right here on WTWS TV 26, the sight and sound of southeastern Connecticut.
And there you take a look at the Cadets on hand today, Mick. Nothing kept them away. It could have been a driving blizzard. They would have been here. It's homecoming at the Coast Guard Academy. All right, it's 3rd and 6 now for the Bears. Ranoski holds it, pitches off to number 34, and he goes up and over. That's Dan Kenny once again. We'll have to wait and see. It appears, Mick, that he did get enough.
It's going to be close. I think they're going to come out for a measurement. Looks to be right at the yard marker, Mike. And they are going to bring the chains in.
Well, this is a huge play because Coast Guard obviously wants to keep their drive alive. But Wesleyan does not want to see that become a first down, because then Coast Guard would really have a golden opportunity to score here after the great run back by Jeff Farley.
It's always important right after you score the next possession, as it is a first down. For Coast Guard, it's always important after you score, you want your defense to go back out there and stop the other team, and that really gives you the momentum. On the other hand, Coast Guard's coming right back. If they can score here, then they got the momentum swung in their direction again.
Tough to see those Wesleyan numbers with all the mud down there in the field. Those guys are rolling around for over 2 quarters now. Marinowski now has a 1st and 10. Pitches out once again. That's Kenny. And he is brought down on a nice defensive play by number 9, Greg Ballerino.
Nice defense for Wesleyan. Good pursuit by Ballerino. Dan Kenny last week, 3 touchdowns rushing. The 41-20 win over Norwich as Coast Guard chewed up 419 yards on the ground.
That was a big win for Coast Guard over Norwich. You know, a tremendous rivalry over the years between those two clubs. Now Ranowski has it. He's got a hole up the middle, and he is brought down by number 51, Norm Bolio, the senior, 6'1", 195-pounder. He's a left outside linebacker, Mick, and here's another look at that play.
There's Ranowski. I'm not sure if he was going to pass or not, but he saw a big hole that quickly disappeared on him. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be about 3rd down and 9. You might see a pass here.
Ranowski at 5'9", as you just saw there on your screen. Not a big quarterback, but he certainly gets the job done. 3rd and 9. Big play coming up for the Bears out of their wishbone. The fake to Herter. He's got it up in the air, and it is incomplete. Good coverage. It was 2-1 on Delano Adams, number 4 for Coast Guard. But an incomplete pass by Tyranowski, and he's still limping a little bit, Mick, but not even close on that pass.
Adams never had a shot for that ball. That ball was not well thrown by Ranowski. Coast Guard might check into throwing a screen pass to one of the backs coming out of the backfield. Adams is being double covered, and with no other receivers, Ranowski had no other choice but to throw that ball away.
Mick, now this is interesting because Jamie Roth now lines up for the field goal. The wind is a stiff breeze blowing directly at him, and you can see right there, just short. But I'll tell you what, if the wind's not blowing that strong, that's 3 points.
An excellent kick by Roth, but you're right, Mike. The wind just held that ball up. A 42-yarder. He had tried a 52-yarder in the first half, but that was with the wind at his back. This time against the wind, it really didn't have a shot.
Never liked the second guess, but I wonder why Coach Tom Bell did not try and get them deep into their end zone or into their territory, I should say. Try to start the Wesleyan offense deep, but he elected to go for the 3. Just came up short. Now Wesleyan takes over on offense. Mikowski pitches out. That's number 35, Bill Buckley. He's had a pretty good game today. Mick, I guess that is big now for Wesleyan to stop Coast Guard after that big play by Farley, because had Coast Guard scored, might have been a big backbreaker there for the Cardinals.
It was definitely a big series for Wesleyan. They stopped Coast Guard. And you see Bill Buckley going around then. Matt Hunter in at another tackle. He's had a big game so far for Coast Guard. 2nd down and 8. Just to get back to your point for a second, it was 4th down and 9, so I think Coach Bell wanted to give Roth another shot at it. He had kicked the field goal in the first half, and he kicked it pretty well.
2nd and 8 now for the Cardinals. Mikowski in his count. Hands it off. That was Buckley again. We've got 6:28 and the time ticking down. 7-7 is your score. We've got a great ball game going.
Buckley almost lost control of that one. Bobbled it there before he finally gained control. It's got to be tough for these guys, Mike, because their hands have to be cold on the sidelines. And then they come in the game, they get muddy, they're all wet. It's very difficult right now handling the football.
3rd down and a long 7. Puts it up, and it is incomplete. Pass intended to number 11, Glenn Frankel. It was a quick pass, Mick, and he had to put something on it. Mikowski did, and I think Frankel would be the first to admit he should have had it. Would have been a big play and would have given him a 1st down.
He should have had that one. It was a good call. It was a good quick pass right over the line, and it would have gave the Cardinals a 1st down, but instead, 4th down and 7, they'll have to punt with 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Bill Polishek will punt it away. There's number 18, Doughty. Hasn't had a chance to bring one back, but he will now. He gets it at the 35, and he is hit by his own man. Number 78, John Freda, was back there on the special teams for Coast Guard, but he ended up getting pushed into his own punt returner. And Coast Guard will now take over at their own 37-yard line, or 38 they call it. So it's 1st and 10 for the Bears as Renoski comes back onto the field.
One thing that both coaches mentioned to us this week, Mike, is they wanted to be able to control the ball. And one team really hasn't been dominant. They've both been moving the ball between the 30s. But except for the 2 turnovers, they haven't been able to get close to the end zone.
Coast Guard with the ball once again. It's good for about 4 yards. Nick, I'm a little bit surprised that he's not going to Herder a little bit more. He went to Herder a lot early on in the ball game, but we really haven't seen Tyronoski go to Herder very much early here in the second half.
Herder was effective, especially in the first quarter, but after that, Wesleyan started keying on him, so I think right now they're trying to really diversify the offense and not key on one person.
The Coast Guard, Gandolfo, split wide, and they elect to go right up the middle. And that Wesleyan defense now is really playing tough there. Tough defense for the Cardinals.
Mike Charlton on the tackle there, all-league nose guard.
Number 4, Delano Adams now comes out of the field for the Coast Guard. He'll come out to the left. Renoski, as always, has his wishbone offense in the backfield, led by Scott Herder. And the handoff is to Herder. And only gets a couple of yards, but it won't even be close to a first down. So Coast Guard will have to kick it away again.
You see Herder disappointed. The offense is sputtering. Big tackle by Greg Ballerino. He's been all over the field for Wesleyan. 4th down, and Farley is back to punt for the Bears.
Talking to Coach Tom Bell earlier, Mick, again, he said that Herder was so spectacular in the last couple of weeks, really punished the defenses in the last couple of weeks. Fair catch called for by number 14 from Wesleyan, Tony Garver. He's a senior. So now Wesleyan will take over again, and I guess now, Mick, is when the times when you start looking for those guys, the quarterbacks, the big quarterbacks, the Tyronoskis and the Lukowskis, to start really thinking out there and start putting some things into effect, and I'm sure you're going to see some movement now. They're at their 26-yard line. Lukowski's got the ball, and is he ever on the move? Out over the 40 to the 50, finally brought out of bounds by number 24 for Coast Guard, Sean Murphy. But not until it's good for a bundle for Lukowski.
Pick up a 25 on the play for Lukowski, and you called it, Mike. It's time for someone to step for the forefront, and that someone for Wesleyan's got to be Jim Lukowski. He took advantage right here, got a big hole, 25-yard gain, knocked out by Sean Miller. Lukowski very adept at running and passing. Hasn't completed a pass yet today, but he can hurt you in other ways, as he showed you there.
Great pictures you're getting today from Ralph Guardiano, our executive producer, and the guys and girls on cameras all over the field today. Number 27, Usher, on that play. That was good for about 5 yards. So now Wesleyan really starting to move the ball, Mick.
Usher had a big week last week in a win over Bates. Over 100 yards on just 10 carries and 2 touchdowns. Been relatively quiet today. But Wesleyan really is starting to pick up the pace. And you got to give a lot of credit to Kevin Spencer. He's got this team playing a very tough and talented Coast Guard team even.
Handoff goes to Buckley. He's had the ball a number of times today. The lights have been on here at the Cadet Memorial Field since the beginning of the ball game today, Mick. And it looks like the skies are beginning to break a little bit, seeing it brightened up a little bit.
Eric St. Michel on the last tackle there. Started as a linebacker, missed 5 games, but he's a fierce hitter. Missed 5 games last year. Playing defensive end this year and doing a great job for the Bears.
And you can't even see Lukowski's number anymore. He is just covered with mud. Now he's out to the left, pitches out. That's Usher. He's along the far sideline, and he is brought out of bounds, but not before he picks up another Wesleyan first down.
Talking to the Coast Guard defense this week, Mike, they said they had to shut this play down. They've done a good job so far, but here, Lukowski waits to the last second before he got hit by Tom Miller. Usher did a good job, brought the ball straight upfield. There you see the senior halfback, and another big first down to keep the drive alive for the Cardinals.
He really does a nice job, Mick. You bring up an interesting point that he does. He waits until the last minute, and then he fires it off. And that, I'm sure, has a lot to do with getting that extra couple of yards. 1st and 10 now for the Cardinals. He's looking to pass. He's going along the sidelines, but it's too much. Good coverage down there for Coast Guard by number 26, Dave Beck, and number 24, Sean Murphy.
Pass intended for Drew Maricello. Lukowski has had trouble passing today. Most of his passes have been off the mark. There was a couple that should have been caught that were dropped.
Sean Murphy, the free safety. Dave Beck, the right corner. 2nd down and 10 now. Lukowski has a couple of receivers out to the right, but he goes left. He's got the ball. He pitches it out. It's fumbled, but Wesleyan holds on to the ball. That could have been costly, Mick.
We talked about the good decision he made 2 plays ago. That was a poor one. He was caught behind the line of scrimmage. I don't know if he tried to pitch the ball or the ball popped loose. If he tried to pitch the ball, in that case, he's just got to tuck it away and take the loss. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 10. Take another look at it. He did try and pitch the ball while he was being hit. We've talked about turnovers, Mike. You're this far in Coast Guard's territory. You're at the 35. You got a golden opportunity to go ahead. You gotta protect the ball with your life.
3rd down and 10 for the Cardinals. So, as you just said, Mick, he's got to play smart football now. The pass is up, and a nice defensive play by number 22, Tom Miller. Pass was intended, I believe, for number 81, Drew Marashalo. It's an awfully high number, Mick, for a receiver.
Miller's hurt on the play. Looked like he got pushed from behind by Maricello. Trainer's attending to him.
As you mentioned earlier, a lot of play at the midfield area between the 30-yard lines, and it is really getting to be tough footing. It was tough to start out with, but it's really getting tough out there at midfield right now.
There goes Miller, leading the team in tackles last year. Coming off the field for 1 play.
So it'll be 4th and 10 now for Wesleyan, and they're going to put a play on here. This one is tough for me to understand, but Mick, what's the reasoning behind this 4th and 10?
I think Coach Spencer thinks that they have a golden opportunity here, and they don't want to just punt the ball away. Now they're going to call a timeout. I think there's some confusion there.
That could prove to be a big play as well, calling a timeout right now. A little bit of confusion toward the end of this game. That may prove costly for them.
Well, it's better to call a timeout than commit a costly turnover like we've talked about. If you're not sure, take a timeout. It's always better to take a timeout than lose the football or make something bad happen for the team. There you see Kevin Spencer in his 2nd year at the helm of the Cardinals. Tom Bell on the other side.
7-7 is your score here at Coast Guard. Happy to have you with us this afternoon. We've got a great ball game going here. Kevin Spencer, the coach for Wesleyan, said coming in, his team had to play their best game of the year, and they certainly are. Tom Bell was not taking anything lightly. He doesn't take any team lightly, no matter how good his team is, and he knows he's got a great football team. But right now, they find themselves tied 7-7, and 1:49 left in the 3rd quarter. And I'm sure he's a little bit surprised at that score, Mick.
I'm sure he is. Right now, Kevin Spencer and his team have decided, they've reconsidered. They're not going to go for it on 4th down. They're going to punt the ball away, hopefully pin Coast Guard. That 4th down, they're going to punt the ball away, hopefully pin Coast Guard back close to their goal line and get good field position.
And back to receive for Coast Guard, as he has all day long, David Doughty, a freshman. So he's got to be pretty excited to be playing in this ball game, Mick.
Yes, I'm sure he is, and I'm sure it'd like nothing better than to make something happen for Coast Guard.
I'm still looking for Farley. Where is he after that last run?
I guess they just keep him on kickoff returns.
Get him in there.
he might be in there next week. Little confusion on the field right now. Not sure exactly what's going on. Officials coming over to talk to Coach Tom Bell.
So after all that, Wesleyan will punt the ball away. It's 4th down and 10. Phil Polishuk, their punter, the sophomore, got a promising career ahead of him at Wesleyan. Does a nice job for this team.
He's also the backup quarterback.
And Doughty lets it roll into the end zone, so it will be a touchback, and they will start their offense once again at the 20-yard line. So a good punt by Polishuk.
Now is the time for Coast Guard. Ty Ranoski running onto the field. You can tell that ankle's bothering somewhat, Mike. But right now is the time for the Bears to get their offense on track. They've been contained for the most part, except for that turnover which set up their one touchdown by Dan Kenny. They really haven't been effective at all today.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking for Herder now. I'm really looking for Scott Herder to do some things in this game. Because as we mentioned earlier, Mick, it's the big players, it's the players that you talk about all the time. They have a certain thing to live up to, certain expectations, the Lukoskis, the Ranoskis, and the Herders, and the Usher, Steve Usher as well. These guys really want to make an impact on the ball game. 2nd and 6 now, pick up a 4 on that last play by Herder. Someone jumped on the line, but it wasn't enough for a penalty flag. Now, a nice defensive play on number 21, Dave Brown. See if we can take another look at that. He was in full stride. There it is right here.
Watch the play by Sean McKissick. He fights off the block and makes a nice tackle. Bring up a 3rd down and 5.
Delano Adams now comes into the ball game for Coast Guard. Rob Gandolfo leaves. Those are the 2 wide receivers for Coast Guard.
Gandolfo was in there on the last play for the block, and McKissick went right around him.
Adams is out to the left. Bernoski goes right. And he is taken down. Once again, the Wesleyan defense comes up strong and is stingy on that defense when Coast Guard is trying to move it out of their own zone.
Let's take another look at it. Bernoski trying to go around. I believe that was Norm Bollier down there. Just grabs a hold of those ankles and drags down Ranoski. Mike, it would be interesting after the game if Ty Ranoski will admit that his ankle is really giving him a lot of trouble, because he doesn't seem to have the mobility that he had early on.
I'll tell you, Mick, we talked a lot about the Coast Guard defense earlier, but I tell you what, this Wesleyan defense has really impressed me as well as their offense has.
They've sure done a great job, and Kevin Spencer and his gang definitely deserve a lot of credit. Of course, last year they played Coast Guard tough before losing 15-7.
Nick, got to ask you, Wesleyan has just taken another timeout. That's their 2nd now, and in a close ball game, you gotta believe now that that's got to come back to hurt them a little bit on, later on in this ball game when the going gets tough. If it's still a close game, and I have every reason to believe it will be as the clock runs down here in the 3rd quarter. Why did they call another timeout? Did you see any confusion down there?
What they did this time, there's only 5 seconds left in the quarter. Coast Guard's going to be punting into the wind. So
Cadets just waiting for some scoring to be done after a touchdown. They, as you know, the traditional thing here at Coast Guard is to do some push-ups after a score for Coast Guard. Go ahead, Mick.
Back to that timeout again, Mike. Wesleyan took the timeout to force Coast Guard to punt into the wind, hoping.
And that's exactly right. They block it. And we'll have to wait and see on the call. They rule him down at the 1-yard line. No time left on the clock.
That was Ed Brown, I believe, number 46.
Let's go back and take another look at that big play. Farley with the punt.
I believe it was Ed Brown that came in untouched from the far side. And the ball, they ruled the ball out of bounds at the 1-yard line. If we could take another look at that. I'm not really sure if the ball did go out at the 1, Mike. It looks like it carried into the end zone, but the refs are marking it at the 1. Don't know if we'll be able to take another look at that. But a big play and a big key timeout called by Wesleyan now as we go back. Kevin Spencer calling that timeout to force Coast Guard to punt into the wind. They blocked the punt. They got the ball 1st and goal at about the half-yard line with a chance to take the lead.
That is an incredibly huge play in this ball game. We start the 4th quarter. Wesleyan has the ball on the 1-yard line. We will come back and see what happens. We're going to take time out, though, right now with your score. Coast Guard 7, Wesleyan 7. Back in a minute.
This is not your typical car ad. There'll be no screaming savings or inflated discounts. There won't even be any cars, because the Caldrello Motor Group is not your typical car dealer. For example, you'll never see a dealer markup on any vehicle sold by a Caldrello Motor Group company. And all savings are actual discounts from the manufacturer's sticker. You see, the Caldrello Motor Group takes selling automobiles seriously, like you take buying an automobile seriously. I know it's hard to believe, but purchasing a car can even be a pleasurable experience. No markups means that you can buy with confidence, knowing you got a fair price. And when you buy your next car from a Caldrello Motor Group company, you can depend on over 78 years of service experience. Peace of mind, that's what buying a newer used car is all about. The Caldrello Motor Group, Lathrop Honda, Lathrop Porsche Audi Jaguar, and Caldrello Acura in Groton. Caldrello Pontiac Volvo in Waterford, Lathrop Mercedes-Benz in New London, and Caldrello Hyundai in Warwick, Rhode Island. The right choice for all the right reasons.
Well, we are back live here at Coast Guard. They have run 2 plays and nothing doing. They are still down at the 1-yard line. Wesleyan ran 2 plays. The last one by Steve Usher, and they can't get it in. Coast Guard is playing some tough defense down there on their own goal line. It is now spotted at the 2-yard line. And Mick, I got to look for Lukowski right now, because the first 2 plays he handed it off and it didn't work. The crowd comes alive now, a man in motion. And Lukowski handed it off to number 35, Bill Buckley. He coughed it up. Coast Guard recovers. And Wesleyan can't get the job done.
Mike Monago comes up with the fumble recovery. Big swing for Coast Guard right there. 1st down and goal with about a half a yard to go, and Wesleyan cannot score. You see Eric St. Michel make the hit. The ball came loose, and Monago, the sophomore linebacker, makes the recovery. Now let's see what Coast Guard can do. A little under 14 minutes left to go here in the game.
And Kevin Spencer has got to be pretty upset down there on the sidelines that his team couldn't bring it in on a 1st and goal from the 1. Bernowski hands off. That was number 34 for the Bears, Danny Kenny. That really surprises me, Mick. The way Wesleyan has been able to move their offense, and this is taking nothing away from Coast Guard's defense, but the way the Cardinals have been moving that ball pretty successfully all day long, in that short yardage situation, it really surprises me that they couldn't bring it in from the 1.
Coast Guard's defense rose to the occasion. You got to give them all the credit in the world.
Well, they sure did. Now Coast Guard, they're deep in their own territory at the 5. The pitch back to number 21, Dave Brown. And he is out over the 15 to about the 16, and that should be good for a 1st down.
There's Dave Brown, the junior halfback. I think there was a flag down on the play. Apparently it's going to go against Coast Guard. Right now it's important for Wesleyan's defense to hold Coast Guard.
I'm sorry, I said the 15. They were out to the 11-yard line, so they are still 4 yards short. Now they've got a 2nd and 9 on the board. 12:46 remaining in this ball game. there were flags. Let's go down to the field and see what the call was.
Okay, we had an illegal block, a chop block against the Blue. We're going to replay second down.
Okay, third quarter statistics for you. Yards rushing for Wesleyan, 126, Coast Guard 130. Yards passing, still nothing for either team. And so far, 22 minutes for both teams. 22-18 for Wesleyan and 22-42 for Coast Guard.
And that typifies what type of game it's been. It's been a very even game. Without the turnovers, neither team would have scored.
2nd and 11 now for the Bears after the penalty. Branaski goes down. Nice job on defense. He was met there by number 9, Greg Ballerino for the Cardinals.
Wesleyan's defense coming up tough again. Branaski, you can tell he's favoring that ankle, Mike. Really doesn't have the mobility he had before he got hurt.
He really is working hard out there and favoring that leg.
You can see him limping coming up to the line. Big 3rd down and 12 here.
Big play here because Wesleyan will get great field position if Coast Guard can't get a first down here. He's putting it up over the middle, and it is complete to number 80. That's Rob Gandolfo, the receiver. And they are just short of a first down. So now Tom Bell has an interesting decision to make, Mick.
Here's the pass. Little slant in. Gandolfo with the catch. But he's going to be about a yard short. And like this, you've got to punt the ball away. 11 minutes left. Deep in your own territory. You dodge one bullet. Chances are you're not going to be able to dodge another. Play it safe and rely on your defense, which has been great all afternoon.
That's exactly what Tom Bell has elected to do. Jeff Farley back to punt it away. Number 14, as he has all day long, Tony Garver. And a great punt. The ball continues to roll past the 20-yard line.
A 66-yard punt, Mike. Jeff Farley coming up big again. He had that big goal. Comes up with officially a 67-yard punt.
All righty, we'll come back with Wesleyan taking over the ball right after this.
National Tire brings you the best tires at the best price that New London County has to offer. If you find a lower price advertised anywhere in New London County, National Tires will refund the difference. Select from all major tire brands such as Firestone, Michelin, Goodyear, Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and more. National Tire also offers free spin balance, free rotation, and free valve stems. Save money, save time. Call our tire hotline now. That's 739-4047, or drive into your nearest National Tire store today.
You know you make me wanna shout, kick my heels up and shout, throw my hands up and shout, throw my head back and shout, yeah, yeah, right, shout, all right, shout, all right, shout, come on now, shout, come on now, shout, yeah, 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 shout, yeah, yeah, shout, come on now, shout, yeah, yeah, shout, come on now, shout, yeah.
On the field and off, Bob Hall's Sporting Goods and Trophies works hard at making you look your best. This is WTWS TV 26, New London, Groton, Norwich.
Basketball will be bringing you 10 of the Blue Devils home games live. Some of the teams will be playing include Fairfield University, Dartmouth, Army, and the University of Vermont. So keep it tuned right here to TV 26.
And once again, Mick, it is our extreme pleasure to be bringing you live sports of the local area and all over Connecticut. We are certainly pleased to be doing a heck of a lot more in the way of sports coverage. So now Wesleyan takes over. 1st and 10.
Whistles are going to blow that play dead. Look like there might have been some movement on Wesleyan's part. Going back to that punt, Mike. big punt by Farley, got him out of a deep hole. Now the pressure's on Wesleyan to move the football.
Here's the call.
We're going to pick the flag up and wave it off. It was a tight end. He did not break into the neutral zone, so we're going to pick it up and wave it off. He was a...
We're going to pick it up and wave it off. That's a first for me.
First down and 10.
All righty, so it's first and 10 now. There's flag on the play, so no damage there. Lukoski screaming the calls now. The cadets are all over him. And he's got to belt those calls out. Now it's tossed around. But Bill Buckley managed to hold on to the ball. That could have been costly there again, Mick.
This type of game and this time left, 10.5 minutes, no turnovers. I'm sure both teams are thinking no turnovers, especially offensively. Buckley did a good job right there to get a hold of the football. That could have been costly.
Really can't afford to make any mistakes at this point in the game. Coming down on 10 minutes left. It's a 7-7 ball game. 2nd and 11 for Wesleyan. The handoff, and he is met hard. It's coughed up. We'll have to wait and see.
I think they're calling it dead. They already had blown the whistle.
Love to see another look at that, Mick, because I don't know if his knee ever touched the ground.
In any event, it will bring up a 3rd down for Wesleyan. It'll be interesting to see if... There it is again. Couldn't really tell there on that angle whether or not he was already down, but the officials had already blown the play dead before the fumble occurred. 3rd down and 11 for Wesleyan.
Tom Bell on the sideline for Coast Guard. Lukoski nudges his own man. He puts it up. It's complete to number 81, Drew Marashalo. It will not be enough for a first down, I don't believe. Looks like they're about a yard short. And I believe Wesleyan will be forced to punt it as well.
Officials are taking a timeout here. They're going to bring the sticks out.
It will be close, Mick. But I thought he might be short. Maybe not.
It's short.
The Bears seem to think it's short. And it is a good yard short. Coast Guard will get the ball back. 9:29 left in the 4th quarter. The 7-7 ball game.
4th and 1. Let's go back and take another look at that pass from Lukoski.
I believe that's his first complete pass today, Mike. Both teams have had extreme trouble completing passes today. The weather's had a lot to do with that.
Marashalo, the 5'9" receiver, he's a sophomore. So Bill Polishuk will put it away. David Doughty back to receive, and he's got it. He's at the 40, still up, and finally brought down by number 22, Will Barry. But not before a pretty good run back, Mick, and gives his team real good field position to start this drive.
That's right, Mike. Excellent punt return. You're putting your team in Wesleyan territory at about the 38-yard line. Tyronoski and the offense really have to start moving it if the Cadets want to win this game.
1st and 10 for Coast Guard. Faked it off to Herder and got it to number 34, Dan Kenny. And that's good for about 8 yards for Coast Guard.
And that play was made by Dave Brown. Watch the block by Brown coming up right here. Take a look at it. He just takes out the corner and allows Kenny to get around end. Excellent pickup. 2nd down and 2.
Dan Kenny, the senior halfback. Once again, some great camera angles you're seeing today. And the Wesleyan line jumped. There are flags on the play. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they were drawn off, but right now it looks like Wesleyan was too quick on their movement.
Tyronoski talking to the officials.
Have to wait and see. Here it is.
Let's go down for the call.
Offsides on the defense. First down.
That's a 1st and 10 now for Coast Guard. They're at their 25 of the Cardinals. Tyronoski hobbling along, but still has his team in it. And another jump offside, this time by, I believe, number 72.
I believe it was number 79, Mike Charlton jumped the gun on that one.
Charlton now jumping offside. Here we go.
No question on that play. Wesleyan really starting to hurt themselves.
Numbers are getting kind of tough to see down there. These guys are covered with mud. 1st and 5 now for Coast Guard. Penalties hurting Wesleyan. Bernaski swarmed by the Wesleyan defense.
Keeper by Ranowski.
No gain on the play. It'll still be 2nd and 5. And now a man down for the Cardinals. Slow to get up.
And that's number 61, Kyle Mangini, who's had an excellent game for the Cardinals. But right now it's time for Wesleyan's defense to make another stand. They've played excellent all day long. Coast Guard's defense rose to the occasion when they were pressured. Now let's see if Wesleyan can do the same.
2nd down and 6. We're in the 4th quarter. 7:30 to go. It's a tie ball game. 7-7. Ranowski hands off. That's Herter. And he gets about 4 or 5 yards in the play.
It's going to be just short of the 1st down. It'll bring up about 3rd and a short 2. Don't be surprised if Herter gets the call again on this one.
Watch the block here now coming up.
Nice blocking by Tom Allen, the left guard for Coast Guard.
Ranowski, a 3rd and 2. Goes left, he holds onto it. He's got the 1st down. Tyronoski still limping away, and now he's really hurting.
He's trying to walk it off, Mike, but you can tell he's in obvious pain. Exhorting his teammates on. That play was set up. Great blocking up front. Scott Herter really threw the key block on that play right there. Sprung Ranowski for the 1st down.
Boy, I tell you what, Ranowski is really limping along out there. Obvious pain. 1st and 10 now. Fakes to Herter. Pitches out. A nice defensive play by number 34, Scott Hatter. That pitch was going outside. And if he doesn't make the play, you never know. Dan Kenny may have gotten the ball and marched it right in, Mick. But watch the play coming up right here. Nice defensive play. You'll see the arm come up.
Here's C. Hatter. And he tries to get the ball before it goes out, but he never had control. The official's right on top of the play. Good call. 2nd down and 11 for Coast Guard. And again, almost another costly turnover there for the Bears. 6.5 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
Keep in mind, the Bears have the wind with them in this 4th quarter. Certainly a factor. It is blowing very strong. Scott Herter's got it. And he is into the end zone for a touchdown. Coast Guard takes the lead. Scott Herter, the man we talked about, Tyronoski going to all day long, comes up in the big situation and puts his team ahead.
You just look, he goes to the middle of the line. There's nothing there, so he breaks outside, and then he dives into the end zone. Great second effort.
Here's the extra point attempt. It is good.
There's a flag on the play.
Let's get the call. procedure call on Coast Guard. They'll bring it back. And Jamie Roth will have to try it again. Here's the call.
We had an illegal formation, only 6 men on the line. Replay the try.
So they'll have to try it again. Coast Guard taking the lead, as you just saw a moment ago. Scott Herter, the big man for the Coast Guard Bears, he got the call on the big play. Snap is a tough one. They fumble it around a little bit, and they can't get it away. So that could prove to be a big play, Mick, later on.
It could turn to be a big play indeed, Mike, as you see the Coast Guard cadets.
There are the cadets doing the push-ups. 13-7. Doug Sabose had the hold. It was a bad snap.
Snap was a little off to the side. It looked like Sabox had a chance to get it down. But he's been having trouble handling the football all day, understandably, in the really tough conditions, windy and cold. And they never did get the kick off. And as you said, Mike, if Wesleyan comes back, a touchdown ties this game, an extra point puts them ahead. And they have plenty of time, 6:26 to do it.
So the first try by Jamie Roth was good, but they had a penalty called against them. So it's a 13-7 lead for the Coast Guard Bears now. Once again, keep in mind, the Wesleyan Cardinals going against a very strong wind. As you look at your screen, it's going from left to right. The cadets really whooping it up down there in the end zone. They are trying to spur their team on to victory here in homecoming here in New London. Jamie Roth will kick it off. Taken by Drew Marashalo. He is hit hard, but he's at the 30-yard line in pretty good field position to start this drive off. Lukowski has 6:21 left on the clock to get his team back in the game. One more look at the touchdown, Mick.
You see Herter, a good job of running. He realized there was nothing up the middle, broke it to the outside, and leaps into the end zone. Herter's had an excellent day. Started off strong. They shut him down there in the second and third quarters, but as you said, Mike, the big players and the big times come up with the key plays.
1st and 10 now. Jim Lukowski pitches out. That's Usher again. Nice defensive play by number 22 for Coast Guard, Tom Miller.
Miller, the senior, with the big tackle behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 15. And I would have to think that Wesleyan's got to start thinking about throwing the ball in the air, Mike. They haven't had much success.
As we mentioned, though, Mick, that is a tough win. Real tough win, and Wesleyan is known as a running team, but you're right, they've got to get some points on the board. Just 5:45 left in the game, but he does go to the air right over the middle, and is complete.
I believe that was to the tight end, Glenn Frankel.
That it was. Glenn Frankel, the tight end.
And those are the type of patterns that they've had most success with. Little slants across the middle. You see it there. And it's going to be close to the 1st down. It's 3rd down and 1. Huge play here for Wesleyan.
Kowski calling out the signals. He's got a double setback. Man's wide to the right. Handoff, and that should be good for a 1st down. It will be close, but I think he got enough.
Bill Buckley, and he does pick up the 1st down to keep the drive alive.
Big 1st down for the Cardinals of Wesleyan. The cadets continue to get the crowd into this game. 1st and 10. 5 minutes left in the quarter. Hands off to Buckley again. Nothing doing. The Coast Guard defense stands strong at the line.
Mike Newsom, the sophomore linebacker, making the big play there. No gain. chains, 2nd down and 10. I'm kind of surprised, Mike, that Wesleyan is not throwing the ball on 1st down. They've really struggled running the ball on 1st down, and it's always easier if the defense isn't expecting a pass. Try a quick pass, pick up 5 or 6 yards, and set yourself up for 2nd down and short.
Right, you got to put it up. Short yardage. You don't have to go for the big play, but at least the short yardage pass. Now he pitches out. That's Buckley again. And he dives forward. Picks up a couple of yards, maybe 3 yards in the play, but it's not nearly enough. It'll be a 3rd and 6 now for Wesleyan.
Dave Beck, the right cornerback, comes up, makes the tackle on Buckley. Gain of 4. You see Buckley, the junior fullback. He's been busy this afternoon. Should mention that last week, Wesleyan ran the ball for 321 yards. This week, I'll be surprised if they get over 100, Mike. They haven't been able to move the ball at all.
Bukowski now, big play. He'll go to the air, puts it up. It is caught by number 11, Glenn Frankel. But it's not enough for a 1st down. So now, Coach Kevin Spencer has a decision to make. It's 4th and 4 yards to go. 3:25 left in the ball game, Mick. He's got to go for it.
Good coverage on that play. Another angle as we take a look at another angle. Ryan Ekholm with good coverage there. It's 4th down and 4.
Here's the ball game, Mick. This is it right here. It's on the line. Bukowski with his troops up there. Drops back. He's looking. He's still up. He dives forward, but I don't know if he made it. It's going to be a very close call. The officials are down there. He may just have enough for a 1st down, and if he does, to his credit, he did it all on his own, Mick.
It's short of the 1st down. The Bears hold. 2:56 left. Take another look at it. Lukowski lunging.
Watch his feet right there.
They marked him down. Good call by the officials. His knee touched well before the 1st down marker. Officials right on top of it on the far side.
But is it not the forward progress of the ball?
If his knee touches first, they mark it where his knee touched.
And now they reverse the call. They have reversed the call. Wesleyan will hold on. They will hold on to the ball. It's 1st and 10. We've got to take one more look at this call. After further review, watch his feet come out now. He's still in right there. He's down, and
that should not have been a 1st down, Mike, as we have, of course, it's easy for us to say up here with the instant replay we have, but his knee touched about a yard before the 1st down marker.
Wesleyan has life. 2:56 remaining in the ball game. It's 13-7. Coast Guard leads it. And Wesleyan has a 1st and 10. Plenty of time for Lukowski. That's the story right there. 13-7 is your score.
Let's see if the Cardinals can take advantage of that break, Mike.
We had the clip on the right line.
That was an interesting call because at first the officials said that it wasn't a 1st down, and they certainly don't use in the college ranks instant replay. For some reason, all of a sudden, the call changed.
That's right. It was interesting that they called it, and one of the refs had actually signaled that it was Coast Guard ball. The Bear defense came off the field, and then all of a sudden they reversed the call. I don't know if they conferred with other officials and maybe someone had a better view, but as we saw it, it looked like his knee fell well before the 1st down mark.
All right, 1st and 10, 2:56 remaining in the ball game. Lukowski and the Wesleyan Cardinals with another chance. Drops back to pass. He's looking over the middle and nowhere near any receivers. The closest man was Glenn Frankel, but that was still way, way over his head. Let's take another look if we can.
Good coverage on the play by the Coast Guard defense. Lukowski really had no place to throw, so he just got rid of the football rather than taking the sack. Let's take another look at it.
Plenty of time. Good. They gave him a lot of time to throw the ball.
His initial receiver was well covered, so he just got rid of it.
2nd and 10 now for Lukowski. He comes to the left side. Pitches out. And it's out of bounds. He pitched out to his #1 back, Steve Usher. Fortunately for Wesleyan, it went out of bounds. Mick?
And again, good defense by the Bears. There was really nothing here. You see the defense string it out all the way to the sidelines. They go after Lukowski, and he really should have tucked that one away. Fortunately for the Cardinals, the ball went out of bounds.
Now it's 3rd and 13, a loss of 3 yards on that play. He's got to go to the air now, Mick. I would believe that he's got to put it up.
The slant pattern has been the most effective play for Wesleyan when they wanted to throw the ball.
Lukowski drops back. There are flags on the play. The ball slips out of Lukowski's hand. The intended receiver, Buckley. But we'll have to wait and see what the call is.
I think it's going to be a legal motion, Mike.
It's against Wesleyan.
I would imagine that Coast Guard would decline this and bring up a 4th down and 13. Looked like the receiver in motion.
There it is.
We got an illegal shift against the white. The penalty is refused. It's 4th down.
So with 2:42 left in the game, I would imagine Spencer's got to go for it now. 14 now comes into the game. Tony Garver. He's their big back.
He replaces Usher.
Big play coming up here. Coast Guard will try to stay strong on defense, but Wesleyan has got to pick up a 1st down. It's 4th and 13. And he's coming, and it's fumbled. And we'll have to wait and see who recovered it. Coast Guard has the ball at the 40-yard line of Wesleyan.
And again, Matt Hunter making the big play for the Bears. Came in untouched, forced the fumble, and Coast Guard takes over with 2.5 minutes left, hoping to run out the remainder of the clock.
All right, so we will come back with the final 2 minutes and 36 seconds of the ball game. It is 13-7, Coast Guard leading.
You've got the situation with the notch year that we
Senior citizens can always count on Sam Gadenson and Claude Pepper to work for them in Washington.
You are one of the men we could always count on when we needed a vote for Social Security, for Medicare, for Medicaid, for housing, anything that meant a better life for the seniors. And I know you're going to be reelected by wise people, and especially with the help of the seniors of your district.
Sam Gadenson, a congressman we can count on.
Good luck to you, Sam.
Mi piace l'opinione di quelli che parla con le mani.
J'adore One Man's Opinion parce qu'il est si cosmopolitain.
Ich hab lieb ein Menschens Meinung, weil jeder darf eine Meinung.
Mueresi ignomi enos anthropo.
Well, as far as One Man's Opinion goes, I could really live without it.
Love him or hate him, but watch him. One Man's Opinion, Wednesday evenings following Newsbeat 26, right here on TV 26. This is WTWS TV 26, New London, Groton, Norwich.
Just a reminder that immediately following Newsbeat 26 on Mondays and Wednesdays, Vice President and General Manager Jim Contalian expresses his one man's opinion, and his opinions are all over the place.
And you're taking a look at the 2 ships here at the Coast Guard Academy, the Vigorous on the left, and the Coast Guard's Bark Eagle, which has made trips to Australia and Europe. It's known as America's Tall Ship. Beautiful backdrop here to our football game today. And it has been a great game, Mick.
Yes, it has, Mike. Defense has really been the outstanding factor on both sides of the football. And Coast Guard's defense really has saved the game for them. They've come up with a big play when they've had to. 2:36
left. Tyronowski will try try to run out the rest of the clock, and I'm sure he will not take any big chances here. He holds on to it, and he is brought down, and he picks up about 4 yards on the play.
Tackle by Pat Flaherty for the Cardinals. Gain of about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Another look at that play by Renoski.
And again, Renoski not taking many chances with the football right now. There's the angle coming right at you. Flaherty with the tackle. And really, Wesleyan must hold right now. They can't afford to give up a first down.
If you missed it earlier, Coast Guard with a big scare. Ty Renoski went down with an ankle injury at the end of the first half, but he has come back in fine fashion to lead his ball club. The pitch out right there was to number 21, Dave Brown. He's had a pretty good game today as well. Minute 47 remaining. In the fourth quarter, Coast Guard 13, Wesleyan 7. And now a timeout once again is taken by Wesleyan.
And on that last play, Flaherty made another tackle. Right now, Wesleyan's got to be thinking that Coast Guard's going to be running the football. I don't think Coast Guard's going to take a chance and put the ball up in the air. So their front 7 and even their cornerbacks and safeties are playing up, and they're expecting the run. And you can see Flaherty came right up, made the tackle behind the line of scrimmage that time. And this is a key player for him right here, Mike. If they give up a first down, it's going to be tough for them to come back. If they hold them, they got a chance to go after the punt again, and they've already blocked 1.
Kevin Spencer, the coach for the Wesleyan Cardinals. And I guess we've got to look back to that big play earlier, Mick, where they had the ball on the 1-yard line, a golden opportunity to take the lead in the game, and that would have changed, I'm sure, the entire complexion of this ball game had Wesleyan been able to score.
They got the block punt, and they couldn't capitalize. And again, you got to give credit to Coast Guard's defense.
Absolutely.
They came up with a big play, came up with a fumble recovery on 3rd down, stopped Wesleyan from scoring, and that did change the tide of the game.
3rd and 9 now. If Wesleyan can hold them, they'll have another shot. Come up strong to the line. Handoff once again is to number 21, Dave Brown. Clock continues to roll. That'll bring up now 4th down for Coast Guard. But the time is Wesleyan's worst enemy now.
I don't believe that Wesleyan has any timeouts left, Mike. So all they could do right now is just wait for the punt. And I believe Coast Guard, they might take a delay of game penalty here and let the clock run all the way down. And there it is.
Once again, Mick, those 2 earlier timeouts that we talked about that Wesleyan took coming back. And as we said right now, to hurt them a little bit.
It's hurting them a little bit, but you got to remember that second timeout they took. If they didn't take that, they would not have blocked the punt.
Delay game on the pool. The clock will start on the snap.
Hindsight is 20/20, my friend. So 4th and 11 now. Jeff Farley, once again, will drop back to punt it away for Coast Guard. And back to receive Pat Flaherty for Wesleyan. The punt is up. It is going to the far side, and it goes into the end zone. So Wesleyan with exactly 1 minute left on the clock. Boy, they've got to march 80 yards, Mick.
They've got time, though. You got to remember in college, if you get a first down, the clock will automatically stop for you.
That's exactly right. So 1st and 10 for the Wesleyan Cardinals. There are the standings right now. NCAA Division III standings. Ithaca at 4-0-0. Fordham, same record as is Hofstra. Plymouth State of New Hampshire. Wagner at 3-1. Coast Guard at 3-1. Coast Guard today with a win would move to 4-1. And the top 4 teams, as you see down there, make the playoffs. So a huge game for the Coast Guard Bears today. All right. Lukowski with a pass complete. And number 82. That's Galen Plona. Wesleyan. Clock continues to move. He couldn't get it out of bounds.
45 seconds and the clock is ticking.
Now the official wiping the ball, Mick, I've got to question that. That just chewed up about 8 seconds off the clock. Now Lukowski throws it away, but you tell me, Mick, with the time running down like that, granted, you've got to wipe the ball, but I mean, when the time's running down, the official cannot take 10 seconds off the clock just to wipe the ball.
Well, in that case, Mike, I have to disagree with you. He's got to make sure that the football is clean so that the quarterback has a fair chance to throw the football.
Well, you tell me this. You either give him 45 seconds to throw the ball or 45 seconds with a dirty ball or 35 with a clean ball. I'll take the 45 with a dirty ball. 35 seconds now left. 3rd and 5 for the Cardinals. Over the middle, incomplete. Pass intended for number 80, John Boniti. He's a junior at 5'7". But now it's 4th and 5. And if it's going to happen for the Cardinals, it's got to be here, because if they don't, that's the ball game.
Key play right here. They've got to worry about just getting the 5 yards. After they get the first down, they're going to have to start throwing the ball downfield. And it's going to be tough going against the wind. But right now, their main concern is getting that first down.
And if they can, getting it out of, well, actually, we don't have to get it out of bounds, because as we mentioned, it would stop the clock. Over the middle. And a nice defensive play by number 24. That was Sean Murphy on the play. Coast Guard recovers. 25 seconds left in the game, and that should do it.
Again, Coast Guard coming up with the big plays when they needed them. Miller was there to deflect the ball. Monago with the interception, and that'll seal it. Coast Guard's going to win this one. Just 25 seconds left. All they got to do is fall on the football once. And the Bears will go to 4-1. Take another look at it. Miller steps right in. Ball deflects to Monago, the sophomore linebacker. Back to live action. Tyranowski's just going to go down on one knee. And that'll do it for Coast Guard. A hard-fought 13-7 win over Wesleyan.
As the clock ticks down. Well, we are forced to pick an MVP in this ball game. Mick, you and I have given this a lot of thought, and I'll tell you what, we have pretty much concluded that this entire Coast Guard defense played a great game today. We cannot put our finger on a certain player to give it to, so I'll tell you what, I don't know if we can do this, but I'd love to give it to the entire defense for Coast Guard, because I think that was a story today. We talked about, you know, down on the 1-yard line, when Wesleyan had a golden opportunity to bring it in the end zone, and Coast Guard's defense just came up so big today.
They came up big in every opportunity. The only time that Wesleyan was able to score was after a fumble deep in Coast Guard territory. And really, as you take a look at Tyranowski and the rest of the Bears shaking hands with the Cardinals, the defense was the key. Wesleyan's defense played outstanding all day long, but Coast Guard came up with the big play of the game after the block punt. Twice they stopped them from inside the 1-yard line, then they recovered the fumble, and that really changed the momentum and ultimately led to Coast Guard's victory.
So Coast Guard now goes to 4-1, and Wesleyan played a great game today, drops to 1-2. But I'll tell you what, Mick, that's not the story so much as the fact that we saw a great ball game here today. Both teams playing very well under very difficult conditions, as we talked at the top of the show. The field was in terrible shape. Everyone having a tough time getting, you know, their feet planted on the ground, and tough for 2 running ball clubs. But a great game, I think you'll agree.
It was a great game, Mike, and Coast Guard was fortunate to come out with a win. Their defense really was the key to their victory today.
So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll be back with post-game and a lot more. So don't miss it. Join us.